For once, I'm exactly on time. It is 10:30 in the AM on a Sunday. Training camp, excuse me, full underway, full in effect, full in the house. We've had a good 3 days of practices. Oh, you know what I find interesting? And there's a couple things I find interesting, but I'm going to wait a few minutes because we're going to make sure everyone gets in. Oh, geez, I got to turn that off. You got so many interesting things happen on this camp. You got people attacking, what's his name? Pat Leonard of the Daily News. You have Joe Shane coming out and saying, we got to walk. We got to crawl before we can walk. We got to crawl before we can run, walk before we can run. We have to find things that Daniel Jones does well. We have to sit there and think about how to teach him how to protect himself on the field. All this adds up to one simple fact. The pads go on Monday. The pads are going to go on. Mike Lee said, what does Mike Lee say? Mike Lee said that this had better be good. I got up early for this. By the way, Cali time. Going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I don't think so. What you doing up in Cali? It's 7:31 in the morning over in Cali time. 7:30 in the morning, Cali? I don't know what time it is in California. But you sit there and you think about this. The pads are going to go on. There has been so much angst, I want to say, in this. What's tripping at 5 on the 5? What's that? You know what? Someone actually pointed out something to me about that, Mike Lee. Someone said to me, he didn't trip on the 5. He tripped at the 10. He goes, your sound effect is incorrect. He tripped at the 10, not the 5. Like it even freaking matters. But you know what? Here's my thought process. The pads are going on Monday. You're going to get a better idea. You're going to get a better understanding of what this quarterback is. You're going to get a better feel for what this team is a little bit more because of the fact that you're actually going to get to hit somebody for 2 hours. Now, there's not going to be 2 full hours of full straight-on contact. That's not going to be the case, but you are going to finally get someone to hit somebody. You're going to get to hit somebody. I remember back in the day waiting to put on the pads, waiting to hit somebody. And that's what you got to do. That's what we're getting ready to do. Oh, what is that? I see Zach and Twitter idiots. So, I got to click on that one right away. Did you see the idiots on Twitter making a big fuss about the training camp fight? You know what I find funny? Last year when we had a training camp fight and Joe Judge punished everyone and made them run laps, everybody was like, oh, look, he's a disciplinarian. He's not going to put up for any of this nonsense. Now people are like, ooh, look at them. Look at them. They're fighting. They're showing fighting spirit. Which one freaking is it? Which one is it, guys? You get the pads. But you know what? I find it funny. We're fighting, and we don't even have the. You normally don't fight until you have the pads on. So I don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent, but evidently Shane Lemieux is always at the bottom of the scrum, always at the bottom of the pile. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that doesn't mean anything, but I just find that interesting. It always seems to be Shane Lemieux's fault. Shane Lemieux also took some snaps at center the last day because of the fact that John Feliciano is out for 2 days straight now, and Douglas looked evidently horrid at the center position. So we have to look at that. Mike Lee says, Tim actually made DJ look good by tripping at the 5. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I let him trip at the 5. Jeff says, Timmy, what's going on, Jeff? Jeff Newman dropping into his house. But you see the scuttlebutt about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I call him the Garoppolo. Brush up on your children's literature. You see people wanting to start Davis Webb, bring in the OG QB. I admit I did a video yesterday, and if you want to see it, go look at it. And basically said, if this goes on for another week with Daniel Jones, not progressing, it's not a bad idea to throw Tyrod Taylor on, give him some first team snaps, give him some first team reps. It could potentially do twofold. It could potentially kick Daniel Jones in the ass and say, hey, listen, nut up or shut up. Let's go for it.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You figure it could do that as well. What's going on? Walla? Wake and bake. What's going on? You jumped in the chat. Walla jumped in the chat comment section the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, I missed you." I miss everybody. But we're gonna get to hit somebody. We're gonna be able to see. We're gonna get to some wares. I'm curious to see how the line holds up against an actual physical contact and attack. What's funny? You're not far away from the first preseason game. We're not far away at all. I mean, the first preseason game is for the Giants is rolling around the corner. So, we got to get some pad time. And I know the pad time is, it's dictated by the CBA and all that fun stuff. But August 11th is that first preseason game. We're not far away. We're playing the Pats. So, I mean, we got to move forward somehow. We got to get this offense to progress. Jeff says, when linemen fight, it's a good thing. It's a good thing or it's a bad thing, because I do agree with Zach here. Leonard Williams is always fighting when it's meaningless.
King of the almost sack.
We're going to grab some coffee. Black Rifle coffee. And my Black Rifle coffee mug. Because you always need a Sasquatch with an AR-15 riding a reindeer. Just the way it is, I guess. I like my coffee black. And it's right. Or do we have to put DJ put his big boy pants on? It is big boy pants time. It is big boy. I look, and I'm sitting here trying to find the buttons because I have not labeled the buttons yet. And we're gonna go back and pretend we didn't see that from where did I put? Oh, there. We're gonna go back and pretend we didn't see that from Mike Lee. Hey, Walla Walla, welcome back. Mike Lee says you got to put your big boy pants on.
Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you. What? You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt. I got big boy pants on.
It is big boy pants time for Daniel Jones. It is. I don't want any more excuses. But going back to Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not the answer. Jimmy G is not even the question. You got $23 million due this year. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. He doesn't really fit the Kafka / Dable offense. He does not have a propensity of being able to throw deep. Does it sound like someone that we already have here? And I honestly believe, in some ways, in reference to injuries, the inability to throw deep, a higher completion percentage when it means nothing, sounds like a quarterback we already have. What's going on, Mr. Alvarez? The Giants should try to get CJ Treader when they had cap space. Now the rumors are circulating that the Buccaneers are trying to get him because of Ryan Jensen's injury. The rich get richer. The strong get stronger. Dable and Shane have come out in multiple occasions. And Jimmy G is older, correct, Mike Lee. They've come out on multiple occasions and basically said, we're going to suck. I mean, they didn't come out and sit there and go, we're going to suck. Well, they came out and basically said in a nice way, there is a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of things that we need to do. We need to sit here and we need to figure out, what this team is, what we could do, who we have, what we have. I mean, I wish, it would have been great if they would have came out and said, we're going to suck. But they basically did a couple of times. They just basically say, listen, we are learning to crawl before we can walk. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a bad thing. But like I said, it's a thing that we just need to think about this. We just need to understand it. And like I said, I get the Vegas guy has us winning 7.5. And I've said this already before. That's a sucker bet. That is truly a sucker bet right now. Do not take that bet. Do not take that 7.5. I am telling you right now. I'm going to look at this. I got the other soundboard up too.
That's what she said.
Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. I like Mike Lee's King of the Stat Compiler. And then we also have, what do we got? Zach? If DJ looks bad August 11th, should we be worried? If DJ looks bad in pads and DJ continues to look bad through the rest of this week, then you get worried. Everyone's bashing Pat Leonard of the Daily News, the venerable Daily News. Even Joe Shane and Dable are going after him. They don't like him. They don't like him at all. Do you want to know why they don't like him? I'm going to tell people why they don't like him. Because people are like, well, he made up the whole story about Kadarius Toney. Actually, the Giants never confirmed or denied the rumor that they were trading Kadarius Toney. And Kadarius Toney came out and basically said he wasn't listening to all that stuff. So they never said yes or no. And also, Kadarius Toney got his ass in camp as soon as this was said. So if anything, they should send something to Pat Leonard. Pat Leonard asked the questions the Giants don't want to answer. The Giants right now are still controlling the media. You can't film practices. The media cannot film practices. Talk to people that have gone to training camp and who have gotten yelled at for filming practices, for filming the practice. So the Giants are trying to completely control the narrative. Now, two things are going to happen. You're going to run into people like Pat Leonard, who is going to ask the tough questions that you don't want to answer. Or when the season rolls in and you go 0-7, the media darlings are going to be turned. The media is going to turn against them and going to turn against them viciously. I said this about Joe Judge. I said, you cannot sit there and do the Harry high school shit and then turn around and lose. You have to win. And I said it, you all have to win almost immediately. Because if you don't, that shit gets old. And it gets old quick. And it got old quick. And then the media completely turned against him. And so did the fan base. But I love it now because all the fans are like, I knew Joe Judge was garbage. I knew it. Even though they're all sitting there. Joe Judge, it's his press conference. Oh my God, I love him so much. He's so wonderful, Mr. Judge. Jimmy G is older. He is older. I know we also got it. Mr. Roberts says, it bothers me that Giant fans give Jones gets 4 years of excuses, but then rag on a guy like Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. Jones had similar stats to those guys, and those guys were rookies. You're right. You're not wrong. Because he's the Giant quarterback. He's the team's quarterback. The Bear fans are going to protect Justin Fields, but this is the only, I've said this a million times, Alvarez. I've said this a million times. This is one of the few quarterbacks that I have ever seen that will sit there and the fan base will defend. I shouldn't say all the fan base. A segment of the fan base will defend him ad nauseum, even though he really hasn't shown everything, and make every excuse under the sun. I keep hearing, well, he's had multiple coaches and multiple offensive coordinators. Well, the Duck and the Chargers had 5 offensive coordinators in 5 years going back to college. He doesn't have an offensive line. Well, that sucky guy Burrows had one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And I don't know what happened to him. Well, he gets nose pass protection. Yeah, you held on to the ball the 7th longest in the league last year and the 3rd longest league the last year. You must be getting some protection. I mean, he doesn't throw the ball enough. He threw the ball last year when he played above league average. Excuse me. These are also the same people that want to prove things with statistics. But when you don't prove things with statistics, when you prove things otherwise with statistics, nobody wants to hear it. What does Mike Lee say? At least FanDuel smartened up and removed the Giants from the Jimmy G conversation. The Giants I don't even know where the hell this Jimmy G conversation came from. I really don't know. I don't get it. Someone explain it to me, because evidently I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I stopped drinking Black after I saw Kyle rotten business support down. That's a political thing. I don't drink Black Rifle because it's political. I drink Black Rifle because it's good coffee and it's veteran owned, and we're a house full of veterans, combat veterans. So that's why I drink Black Coffee, and I'll always drink Black Rifle. Go watch M Best 11 on YouTube. Funniest thing that you'll ever see. I gotta send a message. I sent that to the right person. What does Mike Lee say? Mike Lee says, filming things you shouldn't sound familiar. Hint, Tim preseason low. It's true. I didn't think about that. But you know what? I don't understand it. Just everyone knows, the NFL knows, only a small segment of Giant fans don't understand the team's going to be bad. And those are always the fans that are the loudest. The whole league knows we're going to suck. NFL Network knows we're going to suck. Everyone else knows we're going to suck. Who cares if we look bad in practice? It's practice. You know what a dictatorship does? First thing a dictatorship does, or a banana republic dictatorship does, when they take an island, let's say, you control the media. You control what the people are hearing. And that's what the Giants are doing. And like I said, I'm going to warn people. What is today? I warned people last week, but we're going to say July 31st, 2022. I am warning the Giants now. If you do not look competitive and you keep the media at bay, it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick. So I would just give people access again. I would let people record things again. I would. It's just easier that way. It's just simple. Because then you get the media on your side. Treating Pat Leonard like a pariah who's been on the town for years over at the Daily News is only going to get you in trouble. Because of all the people that hate Pat Leonard, I think there's 37,000 people or 72,000 people, whatever it is, that follow him on Twitter. That's the problem. Tim, I didn't have sangria for last night. You know what I had last night, which is actually kind of funny? I'm not into inexpensive beers, but Busch Beer makes an apple beer. And you know what it tastes like? It tastes like, you know what it tastes? It tastes like apple juice. So I'm sitting there, and they come in 20. It's a 24 ounce can. So I'm sitting there sucking down beers at 11:30 the other day, 11:30 in the morning the other day, thinking about I'm healthy. I'm drinking apple juice. J Sports Cars. I feel Saquon is about to come back to relevance. I hope Saquon comes back to relevance. I hope Saquon runs amok. I hope he runs wild, Jay. I really does. Because you know what he's going to be the cog. He's going to be the guy that pushes this team across the finish line during the last 2 minutes of a game. Because you know it's not going to be Daniel Jones. He's going to have to be the guy that's going to be the grinder. Him and Matt. And they got Devontae Booker evidently coming back in for a tryout. So this team is going to have to grind it out. Because I'm going to warn people right now. The offensive line, the first 6 weeks of this season 6 to 8 weeks is probably going to look worse than last year. You have 4 new starters, potentially 2 rookies on the line. Andrew Thomas is coming back after another surgery, who I think is still going to step up to the All-Pro level, a Pro Bowl level. Not All-Pro, Pro Bowl. But you sit there and you look at this, and you have to sit there and think to yourself, where's the continuity? Because, you don't get enough time in padded practices. You only get like 11, I think it is. Something crazy like that. You get like 11 padded practices. You used to have 2-a-days in pads. But you get 11 padded practices right now. So the continuity is not going to be there. You are going to have to take time, and you're going to need time to build that continuity. Michael Lee says, Jimmy G to the Giants equals 7+ wins. Sucker bet like you. It's a sucker bet. 7.5 wins for the Giants is a sucker bet. Don't take it. Don't take it. Take the under, but don't take it, or don't take the over. Because that's crazy. Zach says, I feel like this fan base is an uncommitted relationship. Zach said that the other day. And you said, I'm glad you brought that up. I agree. It's like it's an uncommitted relationship. Is he our girlfriend? Is he not our girlfriend? Is he not? You don't know. Because the fact that there's so much confusion. There is enough of a body of work of Daniel Jones to know what he is 3 years later. 3 years later. And I'm going to say that again, 3 years later. So we have to start thinking, and I tell you, because I mentioned in the video early in the week, Shane, when asked about, the future of Daniel Jones and what he needs to do to be a franchise quarterback, he danced around the question. Didn't want to answer it. Didn't want to answer it at all. That says a lot. That's a little bit too non-committal for me. What does JM say? I think the O-line is still thin on the inside and without. The O-line is still thin on the outside. That's why they keep bringing guys in. That's why they keep rotating guys around, because it's still, if you're going to be relying on a rookie or Shane Lemieux to be your starting right guard, you got John Feliciano, who's already hurt. And then you tried to shift Lemieux over to, I'm going to say it right now, Lemieux at center is going to be a disaster of epic proportions. People will be like, well, Nick Gates did it, and you didn't like Nick Gates. I didn't say I didn't like Nick Gates. I said I wouldn't give Nick Gates the money until he actually proved himself. That's all I said about Nick Gates. But I'm telling you this like now, Shane Lemieux does not have the skill set of Nick Gates. Nick Gates was a below average. If we're honest, Nick Gates was a below average center. I even said it before in one of the games. I had never seen in the history of football that I've been watching since 1976, a center have somebody almost in a headlock with the person's back, basically had him by the back in a headlock while the guy was facing the goal line. I had never seen a center do it, and clearly did it in the middle of the field. He got called a penalty on that. He had more holding penalties that first year as a starter than I've ever seen a center have in my life. And I think Shane Lemieux would be, I think people are doing a disservice making the Shane Lemieux, Nick Gates comparison, because Nick Gates at the end became a serviceable center. But then the team figured out he's a guard. And of course he got hurt, but they figured out that's his natural position. That's where he belongs. Zach asks, will Dable run double tight end sets to help the O-line? He's going to have to. We have one fullback on this team, and I know the fullback's not a sexy thing in the league anymore. It hasn't been a sexy thing since Maurice Carthon. But I would find a fullback. I truly would. I would find a pile driver. I would find the hammer to put in front of Saquon Barkley. I'd run I formation, off tackle left, off tackle right. I would just pound it and then go to play action. We have enough tight ends. Between the two pros we have, and Ricky Jones-Seals Jr. and the other guy, Atkins, and then we have a bunch of rookies. We have enough talent at tight end. Maybe not all pro talent, but we have enough talent to be more than serviceable to run a 2 tight end set. It really depends on how we're going to play this out. What is Mike Lee says? The O-line will be a work in progress for a while. I think so too. You hope that Evan Neal can step in. You have to hope that Evan Neal will step in immediately, that he can be serviceable immediately at that right tackle position. You really hope so. You really hope so. But then you need to worry about the interior of this line. You have to, because I said this last year, and then everyone jumped on the train about it. I said, I think it was the second or third week in the season. I said, did you notice that the defenses against the Giants offensive line are stacking the middle? Their rush is coming directly from the middle, that they are just putting all these guys in the middle and sending it straight at Daniel Jones. You know, they weren't looping around. They were taking what was given to them up the middle. And that's where they were bringing the pressure from. And that's what happens when you have a weak interior line. And that's what you need to worry about. Mr. Alvarez says, I was looking at the wide receiver draft next season on a site that listed a bunch. I looked up 30 prospects, and out of 30, 10 were 6'2", and the other 2 were considered to be top 10 wide receivers. Yeah, I know. That's a Wandale Robinson Smurf comment. No, Wandale Robinson all day long. Because he is the Smurf at 5'8". He's going to be a gadget guy. I said he's either going to be Percy Harvin or Tavon Austin. I would like a big body. I know people are down on Darius Slayton because he had a bunch of drops in camp, but my thing is this: you got Kenny G on the outside. Who's your wide receiver 2 on the other side? If you don't have Darius, who is the prototypical outside wide receiver? People are like Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney does not run routes well enough to be a full-time outside wide receiver. He doesn't. Like I said, if you go back to how they referred to scouts, NFL scouts referred to his route running ability as unique when he came out of Florida. And unique is not a good term that you want to use when somebody is when someone's being evaluated. That's not a good term. I can tell you that firsthand. That's not a good term. So we got to kind of wait and see there. We got to wait and see. Next year's draft is small for sure. It is small. Like I said, I'm telling you, Darius is going to be fine. He had the drops. He looked better. He's going to be fine. Mike Lee says, warp back to the 1980s. I would love to warp back. Let's sit there, go I formation, Joe Morris, Maurice Carthon, Bill Ard, Brad Benson, Bart Oates, Chris Godfrey, William Roberts. Let's line them up like the 86 team did and run it. Tyrone, what's going on, Tyrone? I love it. We should run the T-Bone offense. We're going to call it the T-Bone offense. The T-Bone. I'm going to call it the Dable Bone. That's going to be my wishbone. The Dable Bone. The D-Bone. We'll call it the D-Bone. Because we should. You have these guys that have unique talents. Put Saquon Barkley, Kadarius Toney, Wandale Robinson in the backfield behind Daniel Jones. Have Kenny G be the outside wide receiver. Or you can go one wide receiver, one tight end, whatever you want to do, and run it. Why not? Why not? Blair says, why a fullback and not an H-back? Because you need someone that can block. It's old school football 1-on-1. Just line it up. You know what? They always say this. If you have a Porsche pass protection, the easiest thing to do to combat that is run it down their throat and then run the play action over the top. Just grind it. Grind it. That's all I want to see this team do. Zach says, a fullback and is no lineman that can, yes, exactly. It's fullback and no lineman. That's why you need blocking tight ends. What does Jeff have to say? Jeff says, what are the odds of picking up an actual center off the scrap heap? Whatever this roster is, the 53-man roster at the end of the camp. And if one more person asks me to do, can you do a prediction of the 53-man roster? No, I can't. I love people that can. I can't. Because things change in a moment's notice. Ask me after the second preseason game, and then I will do a prediction of the 53-man roster. I can't do it beforehand. That's just content to make content. Mike Lee says, unique equals bless his heart. Bless his little soul. He's good. Oh, unique is a bad word, guys. As someone that worked in the NFL for 3.5 seasons, and I also did 4 in the AFL, I will tell you right now, unique is a bad term when you're describing a player. It is a bad term. Irish Rover, what's going on? Good morning, Giant fans. Tim, hair looks good. Hair's been on point the last couple days. I don't want to brag. I don't got a new barber, but I've been getting touch-ups. But the hair has been on point for a while now. But Irish Rover, this Black Rifle coffee is for you. Thank you. Thank you. What does Zach Attack have to say? Can you predict 53-man master? Can you predict on the 53-man on roster on Madden? No, I can't, because I play NFL 2K4 or 2K6. That's how old I am. I still have my copy of Tecmo Bowl. I have my original copy for the PC of original John Madden football. That's how old I am. James says, is it possible that Gates plays in the preseason? No. He's had like what, 7 surgeries. He's in camp. He's just kind of standing around right now. I don't even think he's cleared yet. I would like to see Nick Gates come back, but you know what? You have to have a risk analysis as a player. You have to have a risk analysis. And I'll give you a good example. Tore my ACL twice in 2 years. Had 1 year of eligibility left. I could have came back. I could have tried to come back for that 1 year eligibility, but the problem was I did it 2 years in a row in the same knee. The risk analysis of that was more likely I'm going to do it again. Because this isn't back when it was like, we can build him, he can better than he was. He's the first $6 million idiot. And so my risk analysis was, I'll just finish school instead. Don't worry about anything else. Just finish college. Just get out of college. So Nick Gates has to sit here and have a risk analysis in reference to, after the break that he had in his leg, is it worth the potential to have that injury reoccur, or to break your leg again, or cause another? Because you know what? After footballs, and I will tell you this firsthand, people don't think what happens 30 years later. I have trouble walking up and down the steps. I have arthritis in both knees. I got arthritis in my shoulder. I'm probably older than, I probably at times move older, like I'm an older person than I should. I'm in the gym. I lift weights and stuff. I do stuff like that, but still when you're young, you're not thinking about it. But as you get older and the injuries that you had start becoming permanent, I actually technically can get a handicap license. I refuse to, but I can get I have such a disability in my knee that I can get a handicap license plate placard. I could get one because I have something like a 45% disability in my one knee. And that's because of the fact that I probably quit. I probably should have quit after the first one. I showed the MRI last time. I was behind the green screen. But I was showing the MRI last time. That's my badge of courage. Nick Gates has said he has no idea if he can play again. Nick Gates has said it a couple times. He's got no idea if he can play again. The poor guy. He's got no idea. But you know what? Sometimes you reach a point where you don't want to quit. You don't want to stop. And sometimes you need that person to tell you, you got to stop. It's time to quit. It's time to stop. And you hope that Nick Gates kind of figures that out. We got a $2 super chat. And of course, all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. We donate all the super chat money. Massive salute to Tim. Right back to you, Tuto. To everyone who dropped by to pay the proper respects to Slim and the Sickness, she goes out to friggin' door. Forget about it. I love Tuto. Not because he supports the kids, but he's got. If you go read the comments, when Tuto puts a comment in there on one of the videos, you got to read it because of the fact that it pumps you up. Because some of them, somebody gives you just like, ugh. We have an 800 number. I forgot to mention this. If you want to leave a message for me, if you want to leave a message for the show, we have an 800 number. And what I'm going to do is if you call it and you leave a message for me, I'm going to play them on the show. I'll play them on one of the streams, and I'm trying to find the 800 number here. Because I got an 8, like I said, I wanted to do this for a while now. And all you have to do is you just call the 800 number. And I'm also going to use this for people that want to call into the show, because I got a lot of people that want to call into the show, but they don't have what the hell am I using? StreamYard or whatever. So but here I'm gonna post the 800 number. It's a brand new 8. I'm gonna put it under as a banner. James thinks I'm crazy. But this is the online Big Blue 800 number. This is you could call, don't call it now. But this is the I'm gonna say that here, and if you want to put it as a ticker, if you want to, you call that number, you push 1, and you can leave a message directly, and then I will play the message. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the message on one of the shows, on one of the shows itself. So don't call now. So if you want, I thought it'd be fun just because you got a lot of people that some great comments. So I'm gonna put 800 number. Call and leave a message to be played on a video, on a upcoming video. And also, if you're an OG Online Big Blue member, there's a secret code. There's a secret code like in the box of cereal. There's a secret code that if you use, you can actually call me. You can call me directly. How awesome is that? You can call me directly. I got some good messages already. Let's see here. Oh, James Williams is in his house. Oh no, not offensive line issues. We only have a little bit of offensive line issues. What are you gonna do? Zach, we're all giving the big shout out to the big Tuto sitting here in the room. We all got, you know what? It's a love fest when Tuto is in the house. Mark Thompson from Barbados is going to be here. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, James. Good morning, Tito. Peace. Tuto. Peace. Actually, Jeff, we have a vanity number. We have a vanity number, which will be it'll be 883 Big Blue. We have a vanity number. Call and leave a message to play on an upcoming video. So that's gonna be something fun to do if you want to do that. Hey, Joe Rev, what's going on? What's up, guys? What's up, G-Man family? I haven't talked to Joe Rev in a while. Tuto gives out a massive salute to my brothers. How y'all doing, big fellas? We're all doing good. What do we got here? Peter says Tony routes may not be super crisp, and they're not crisp at all. But he creates great separation, quick twitch movement, and makes them very hard to cover one-on-one. Very exciting to see this year. Okay, Peter, I'm gonna break this down as a former defensive back. I'm playing one-on-one on a guy like Kadarius Toney. This is what the league figured out after the Dallas game and after the New Orleans game and everything. This is what you do. This is what you do. You keep him in front of you. He catches the ball. You stay 3 yards off him if you feel like you cannot make the tackle. And you mirror what he's trying to do. You don't mirror exactly his moves. You mirror the direction he's going. If he's going to left, if he's going to right, if he's spinning back, you mirror it. And you wait. You wait for the cavalry. That's all you got to do. It is important to be an outside wide receiver to have the ability to run proper routes. You have to remember, Kadarius Toney was at 4 years at Florida. 4 years he played. His best year was a COVID year. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Giants Clown. What's up, Giants Clown? Jimmy G stuff seems to be getting legs. No, it's not possible. $23 million owed this year, unrestricted free agent. He's probably going to get released. They've already made the commitment to Trey Lance over in San Francisco. So no, it's not going to happen. It's not. There's no flexible reason or possibility for it to happen. Now, if he gets waived and he is willing to take less money up front, but more likely what's going to happen is for him to come to the Giants, and for Jimmy G, the Giants would be an attractive destination because of the fact of Daniel Jones, up and down play. Daniel Jones' history of injuries. Tyrod Taylor's history of injuries, and Davis Webb being a player that is not NFL proven, we'll say, even though he's been in the league for like 10 and a half years. Even though it's been that long, I'm just joking. It's a good destination for him. But the problem is at the end of the day, you don't have the money to pay him. And Joe Schoen, I've said this before, has been protecting that cap space like it's his own child. I'm holding on to this. Screw that. I'm holding on to this cap space. And that's what you have to remember. He took a hit on Logan. He could have saved $3 million on Logan Ryan's contract by using his post-June 1st designation, which you can use twice before June 1st. It's in the CBA. Look it up. And instead, he took a $750,000 in cap space because of the fact that if he would have used that post-June 1st designation on Logan Ryan, $3.5 million would have rolled over. Dead cap money would have rolled over into 2023. So he's protecting that cap space. He's holding on to that cap space, which is the right thing to do. Kadarius Toney is going to ball out. Just wait. I hope he does. But I'm also realistic in the expectations that if he doesn't clean up his route run, he's not going to be on the field as much as people think he is. He couldn't even return punts last year. He's still not returning. This is the other thing you have to worry about Kadarius Toney. He still has not been returning punts in camp. You had a Dory Jackson at one point returning punts. 2 words. Jason Sehorn. No, don't do that. What do we got here? Tuto says, Tim, where are you and James on the show today? My teammates want James on the show if possible, please. We're gonna have James on a little bit if he's up for it. I just want to make sure I'm getting through all these messages. Let's see here. I only think either Akins or Seals. Jones will make the 53. I think only 2 tight ends plus Hall make this team. Wouldn't be surprised if 8 wide receivers on this team at least 7. I don't see 8 wide receivers. I see 3 tight ends. Why do I see 3 tight ends? I'm going to tell you why I see 3 tight ends. Because unless Saquon gets hurt, or unless the offensive line proves that it can pass block, you're going to run the ball. You don't sit there and say, you know what, we need to look at the, you know what, we only got 20 likes. We had 60-some people in the room. We only have 20 likes. What the hell? Just because I forget to tell people like the damn video, you don't like it? Like the damn video. Please. Please, it helps the channel. Listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest about this. I'm gonna shoot from the hip right here. If we don't grow the channel this year to my wife's target expectations, we're not doing it next year. I was already told we don't grow, we're not doing it. She's like, I'm not gonna sacrifice my Sundays and other days for you not to be bigger than you should be. Of course, all wives say that.
That's what she said.
What's up, Alan? What's up, Alan Howard? Hey, Tim. I actually have a Sunday off. I'm able to watch live. Welcome, Alan. I haven't seen Alan in a while. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you leave some great comments. I'm here. I'm hearing he will get waived, and people have already contacted the G-Man. You know what? I don't see it. I also don't see bringing in a guy 4 weeks in the training camp as a quarterback. I don't see it. If you go back to the annals of football law, it's not something that's often done unless there's an injury. We have to kind of just wait and see. Peter says Tony needs to put some time focusing on the playbook and not his rap lyrics. He's a terrible rapper. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I love you like, well, they let him play his rap music. That's the big difference between the Juggernaut and Dable. They let him play his rap music. I love the swing, the pendulum swing. The pendulum swing 2 years ago is we need a disciplinarian. We need a guy to come in here and teach these guys things and, you know, and this. And I kept telling people it's not going to work. And if it does work, it's not going to work well if they don't win. Now it's we need a team friendly guy. We need a guy to come in here and be their pals. This is why I have headaches. We're up to 26 likes. Let's get up to 30. Do you think Slayton will get his targets? That is the other biggest issue. If you go back the first 2 seasons of Darius Slayton's career, Darius Slayton's targets dropped off exponentially in year 3. Daniel Jones' ability to look at Darius Slayton on the field kind of went away. We did a whole video. I did a great video on Darius Slayton. And I'm not saying that because I did it, but there is, and it actually breaks down the entirety of his last 3 seasons and kind of proves a point. Jeff says, listen, Timmy, you have to cover your back. Jones loses a couple games right off, and maybe Jimmy G gets a shot better than Joe. So you are willing to interrupt or potentially damage the symbiotic kumbaya relationship that's currently being built to bring in Jimmy. Jimmy G is not a great guy. I know people in San Francisco who will tell you Jimmy G is not a great guy. He's not a great teammate. He's not a Josh Rosen, but he's not the greatest guy in the world. Tyrone says, what does Tyrone says? We better keep 7 wide receivers and probably have 3 defensive tackles. If we're playing the true Wink 3-4 defense, you are going to hold on to 2 defensive tackles. You are going to have more linebackers than you are defensive ends because you're going to use them on a rotational basis. 7 wide receivers. I don't even know if, let's take a look at the Giant roster right now because I don't even know who 7 wide receivers would be on this current roster. Let's just jump into the roster for a second here. I'm on a road to nowhere. What do we got here? All right, so you're 7. See, we got a lot of wide receivers, but nothing. Alex Bachman, no. CJ Board, special teamers. Doss, special teamer. Robert Foster, flame out of guy who had 1 good year in Miami. Kenny G, Richie James, who's impressing, but he's been in the league for 5 years and is 5'9". Colin Johnson. Again, it's Colin Johnson, 6 years. You got Marcus Kemp. You got Austin Prohl, Wan'Dale Robinson, David Sills, Darius Slayton, and Kadarius Toney. So right now I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 4 potential wide receivers that you're going to keep in reference to Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Kenny G. And then you can't have, what the problem is with Richie James? Richie James is 5'9", 185 pounds. You got Wan'Dale Robinson at 5'8", 185 as well. And you got Kadarius Toney, who's just, they say he's 6 feet. He's short on 6 feet. If you see him in person, he's short on 6 feet. But you're going to have 3 shorter guys on the field and not having someone that is going to be that large outside W2, wide receiver 2, W2. Thanks. Pay your taxes. Who's going to be that other guy? I don't see it. I don't see 7 guys even on this roster, unless you're going to bring in CJ Board because he can play. Plus that those 3 guys all have to be special teamers. So Alex Bachman, no. So you figure CJ Board maybe. Robert Foster, if you could return some punts, and same with Richie James. So those are maybe your 3 other guys, and I don't think Richie James plays special teams that well. I think Colin Johnson would be a better fit. So there's I don't even see 7 guys right now on the roster that should excite you in reference to that. Alan says he's rocking his online Big Blue t-shirt. Rock that shirt, my brother. It's funny. I like this on Motorcycle. Evidently, Motorcycle 365 is not married. Don't listen to your wife. I'm not going to not keep making videos. I'm just saying that my wife has given me a target that the channel needs to grow by. And we got 29 likes. Let's get up to 35 that my channel needs to grow by. And she's already said, you have a family. You like to do other things besides this. If you're not going to start growing more, because I've been doing this will be my 3rd year. I got 11,000 subscribers. I think that's crazy. I always go back to the day. I don't think like 10 people would have subscribed, but she's like, you need to be big. Show you something. You need to be bigger than you are.
That's what she said.
So, but I'm not going to, and Motorcycle 365, I'm going to tell my wife you said that. So, James says, if you don't hit the like button, Mark, someone is going to get a cut. Hit that like button. What does Alan say? Alan says, Jimmy G is too expensive. Got to save cap. You just can't. You can't bring in. And like I said, unless Jimmy G is going to come in and take like $5 million this year with incentives, and then you probably going to have to give him 2 more years guaranteed after that. Are you really going to commit that to Jimmy G to bring him in? Because Seattle's going to try to swoop in and get him as soon as they cut him. There's a couple teams that are going to swoop. Cleveland is probably going to take a look at him as well, because you figured Deshaun's got to get expended for at least 8-9 games minimum. So there's too many teams ahead of us. We just need a winner. We do need a winner. We need a pitcher, not a belly itcher. I was teaching my son chants for Little League. Giants class says, I remember Pete Carroll's cupcake camp with the Giants clown. That is a great analogy. The Pete Carroll Cupcake Camp. I remember it back. In New England. Mr. Rah-Rah high school shit. That doesn't play in the pros. I keep telling people this. When people were running laps last year at FanFest, I was dying because I was like, you morons. Running laps is a punishment. Football players don't like to run laps. But they were showing support for Joe Judge. And now all these people that were showing support for Joe Judge are now saying how horrible he was and how they knew it. I knew it. He's terrible. You're liars. Admit you're wrong and move on. Boy, I could get fired up quick. Mark says, Tuto James, I'm doing good. Live show with Tim was on point, James. We're going to have James on a minute if he's available. I'm just trying to get through all these. I like to make sure we get through all the comments as much as possible. Oh, my God. I ripped my finger apart. Yesterday. I don't know if you can see it. I tore my finger. Cut my finger. Pretty bad, too. I probably got to fix that. Probably need a stitch. I cut at my finger. What do? I just tape it back up and get back to work. And now that the Band-Aid came up, I'm looking at it going, well, that's pretty bad. That don't look too good. Peter says this is the beginning of a rebuild. If Danny doesn't work out within draft next year, we have Tyrod as the backup. Don't need to waste money on Jimmy G. Pointless. Wonderful. Great comment, Peter. Wonderful comment. Irish Over says, are we going into the fires of hell with DJ this season? He cannot expect to rebuild the team in 1 year. Expectations need to be real. You're right. Deshane and the Dable have set these expectations. Why am I the only one that looks at this and sees what they're saying? At some point in time, you're looking at Shane and Dable and they're already saying we're probably not going to be good. We have to learn to crawl before we can walk. Who the hell says that in a press conference? Unless they know you need to manage expectations. What does Jeff say? Jeff, the best way to grow your channel is to collaborate with other content creators on their channel. That's how I found you on Bad Dog's channel. Well, nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. Don't give a fuck. You know what? I might. I'll reach out to Bad Dog one day. People ask me why I don't like content. Content creators don't like me because I tell it like it is. And they're always like, you're talking about me. No, I'm not talking about anybody. I don't watch giant YouTube videos. Two reasons why I don't watch it. Twofold. Because we're at 31 likes. Twofold reasons. Because you don't want to taint your opinion by accidentally reaching out into thinking into someone else's opinion. And two, I don't watch YouTube. Ask James. I don't watch YouTube. Vinny G is in the house. Salute to everyone in the chat. What's up, Vinny G? Mark says there's a ton of wide receivers. I think 11 and 10 personnel. Now we're not there's a ton of wide receivers, but not a ton of talent. I didn't forget Sterling Shepard because he's still hurt. Once Shepard gets off the pup, then and people always say that to me, and that's a good point. That's actually interesting you brought that up, Tyrone. I did a video about the rookies that can make an impact, and people are like, well, you forgot Wan'Dale Robinson, Daniel Bellinger. I didn't forget them. They weren't signed. I use reality. I view reality. I see what I see in front of me. I don't see what potentially what happened because there's always been plenty of times in the past where certain players just don't sign for whatever reason. Richie James, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, all the same player. All the same player. Shep's still hurt. Don't know when he's coming back yet. CJ Board, special teamer. Colin Johnson, special teamer. That's all I'm saying, Mark. That's all I'm saying. What does this say? Mike says you steal from the next year's cap if you only need one more piece to put you. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, I like that. You steal with the next year's cap if you only need one more piece to put you over to cover. We are nowhere near that situation yet. What's up, RF? RFVD. Do you think it would be worth? No. No. I don't even need to rate the rest. No, it's not worth it. It's not. Injuries, issues, it's just not worth it. Because of the fact that we have $6 million in cap space. People forget all right, kiddies, let's put our cap hats on today. We are still under the rule of 51. We have $6 million in available cap space under the rule of 51. And as all intelligent online Big Blue subscribers know, The rule of 51 means you only count the top 51 contracts until the last day of training camp. And when camp closes, then you then total up all 50 or top 53 contracts that go against your salary cap. So we have 6 million now without the rule of without 53 contracts. All right, what do we got here? Let's see here. Tuto said we're saluting Tuto. We got Alan. Here we got Alan. I believe this is a 2-3. I've already said it right now. 2025 is when the Giants will be good. 33 likes. Let's get up to 40. I said this a million times already. 2025. If this was a foundational draft, that we are working through right now, that is what we need. If just the first 2 picks of this draft hit, we have 2 legs of the table. And we have to kind of move forward and see what we have going there. Mr. Belford, thank you for the super chat. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's House. Good morning, Tim. I got the name from We've actually said this. I've said this, Mr. Bell. I always call him Mr. Belford. I've already said this before. I got the name for the Giants. Johnny Wishbone. Do you remember Beverly Hills Cop? Bill and Lutz, like Kibble and Bits. Only different. Yes. I always like Johnny Wishbone. I just love it. And your name is Bill. And he's like, I almost had it. Yes. That was actually a great scene. If you don't know that scene, just Google it. That's Mr. Belford. Mr. Belford, I think you just made my day on that one. I said it's like Bill and Nuts, like Gibble and Bits, but different. Just go Google Beverly Hills Cop, Johnny Wishbone, and that'll make you smile. That'll make you smile. And of course, thank you for the super chat. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Who's ready for on some? I'm ready to put on some freaking pads, Alexander. I wish I could make it, but I got a dentist appointment at 9 a.m. I can't make it out to camp. We are going to be at the August 21st preseason game. If you don't know already, check out we're going to have a live stream August 5th. We are giving away a coaches club ticket to hang out with myself, the venerable James Williams, Dominic Palmer, who's flying all the way over from the UK, and OGR Sports. You get to hang out with us at the coaches club and be on the field for when I do the 40-yard pass challenge, where I drop a perfect pass to Daniel Jones. When I brought perfect drive to James Williams. And I appreciate that. Irish says, Tim, I like you. I think your knowledge and opinions are spot on. Maybe it's the Jersey thing. It's always the Jersey thing. Thank you, though, Irish. I appreciate that. RFD says, signing Booker would be a good deal as he is a better downhill hunter, can catch the ball. Less chance of the D knowing what the play is like. And OGR talked about Barkley and his pass catching play. You're right. You know who would have been a great Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman would be a huge fit right now in this offense because he is a downhill runner. He got dragged down from behind the Seattle game, which showed that he doesn't have the venerable speed, but he is a guy that can move the pile. And I think that's what we need. That's what we need to think about. I'm still going back to Johnny Wishbone. Gibbles and bits, but different. Gibbles and bits, but different. I'm ready for some pads. When are we trading Kenny G? We're not trading Kenny G till next year, and we're probably going to end up cutting him. Or restructuring. Mark Stewart's in the house. I love Mark Stewart's. Always leaves us a great comment. Tomorrow, Harf says, tomorrow we get a better idea of how the team can look, and there's no substitute for real live. There's none. You cannot simulate. You cannot simulate anything better than hitting someone. And like I said, everyone has the best laid plan until you get punched in the mouth. That's when things go to crap. What is Mike Lee say? Could have been a year less if Joe picked a certain someone in the third round. Too bad they could have. We're not going to get into that, but I know what you're referring to, but you're right. You're not wrong, Mike. Vinny G says there are a lot of players with the Giants' careers on their line this year. There are a ton of players I like the Corbin kid too, the running back at Florida State. There are a lot of kids, a lot of guys on this roster. There's a lot of guys on this roster right now. Come on, we got to get up to 40 likes. There's a lot of guys on this roster right now whose career really depends on this year. And it's not just rookies and second-year players and special teams and guys that are on the practice squad. you have O'Shane. I love it now because O'Shane Zimenez has gained bulk. He's the incredible bulk. Matt from Connecticut was the incredible bulk last year too. Look what happened. Doesn't work. It doesn't always work out. Bolt does not always translate into talent, but there are plenty of guys on this roster right now who need to step up, who need to show some fire. I like him too. He's going to be good. I think he will be. But like I said, it depends on how many running backs we got. Throw a Giants 34. What's up, Tim? If we had a good veteran quarterback like Dak, how many wins do you think we would have with this team? On this team, with this offensive line and these skilled position players, and really, like I said, and I think I've said it before, I think it's unfair, the stats, the quarterback win and loss record. I think that's an unfair stat because there's plenty of quarterbacks that throw for 400 something yards and they have a terrible defense. So if everything is the same, except you're changing the quarterback, I say you're good for another 2 wins with Dak. I'm thinking that you could potentially see a 7-win team if Dak is playing at the same level that he played in Dallas. But is there going to be a difference in regards to that level, in regards to the talent that we have around him? We're at 36 likes. Let's get to 40. Peter says, what's Peter? Like Wan'Dale Robinson, but we have 2 receivers just like him. George Pickens and Alec Pierce were the same, still on the board. Yeah, you're right. I know. I like George Pickens. Both those guys would line up opposite of Kenny. This is the only thing that I still think the Wan'Dale Robinson pick was a reach. I'm not gonna lie, I still think it was a reach. But here's the thing that bothered me most about it, Peter, and I've said this before. You drafted a redundant position. You have Kadarius Toney. Why would you go out and get a guy who's smaller, who has similar attributes than the guy that you took and traded for in the first round the year prior? Why? Why would you do that? I don't know. That's why I'm asking people. Why would you do that under this regime? What does Mark say? Mark says, don't know if we spoke to this earlier. Backup center is an issue. Backup starting center is an issue. I see Lemieux filling the position interesting. Now, here's the problem. Like I said, you did miss this, Mark. If you are relying on Shane Lemieux to fill that position in reference to the center, we're not relying on reality. Because Shane Lemieux is barely a right guard. And the worst problem is he's going to have to call your line shifts. He's going to have to be the guy that is going to have to anchor the center of that line. And if you are relying on him to do that, there are going to be some problems. There are going to be some issues. James says, support quality G-Man content. Hit that like button. Felice, no one's saying what, not my guy in reference to Kadarius Toney. Nobody's saying what happened to Feliciano. He's just been out the last 3 days. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you do all that thing. I'm actually not joking. I already have the edict from my wife. Grow the channel. That's why I'm going to be doing more on-camera stuff. That's why I'm going to try to do some more giveaways. I'm going to try to do some stuff that's just going to be fun and exciting. I'm going to try to make it more one of the things I like to do, one of the things I really want to do is I like to make the channel as interactive as possible. I'm not sitting there, and I'm not saying people are doing this, but I'm not sitting there only, my theory is I'm not going to read just people's comments that give super chats. No, I don't do that. I want to read everyone. And a lot of people say that's to my detriment because I donate all the money for charity. So maybe I should just read super chats because it all goes to the kids. But I want to make this as interactive and as fun as possible. I want to keep it as fan friendly. I want to make sure we get as many people as we possibly can. Last year, when we were wrapping up a season, we had the season go. We had a couple hundred people in the chat, on our nighttime videos, and people were laughing at me because I literally just try to read every comment that I can. And I think that's why you do live streams. I mean, that's just my opinion, but you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to drop the link into the chat here. If you want to join in, we got another half hour before we're going to check out here because I got to go hang some TVs today. Mark 10 said, not advocating for Shane. I see him filling. Oh, he's filling. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Yeah, he's filling in a training camp. He's filling in and filling out. I don't see it happening. Don't see it happen. James Williams says, what franchise quarterback struggles in the first 3 days of training camp with no pads and no real defense? Oh, I know. Daniel Jones. Yes, got one right. Fans thought Shane was a genius after the first round. Second round on, fans want him fired. It's true. But you know what? You have to just wait and see. And I keep telling people, just wait and see what happens. People are like, you're changing your opinion on Daniel Jones. No, I'm not changing my opinion on Daniel Jones at all. But I'm also not going to get fired up about a kid who's had 3 bad days. Just like I said, if he had 3 wonderful days, I wasn't going to get fired up about that either. Put the pads on. August 11th. Is it August 11th? Is the first preseason game in 11 days? 12 days? My calendar's not hooked up, so I don't know. But August 11th. Let's just wait and see. Let's give the kid the opportunity to put on the pads. Put them on. Put them on the glass. Sorry. Which was a great video, by the way. Tyrone said, we're witnessing the evolution of the wide receiver position, Tim. Everyone wants the shifty mismatch with speed. Kansas City, Miami, and a few other teams have gone that route. The problem is Kansas City's receiver who went that route is now in Miami. And that's a difference between having Tyreek Hill and Kadarius Toney. You're going to go that route, but you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, defenses will easily James was there, now he's disappeared. Defenses will easily figure this out. Come on, we need to get to 40 likes, people. They will easily figure out, you park your ass in front of the wide receiver, you wait, like I said, you wait for the Calvary, you wait for John Wayne. She wore a yellow ribbon to come charging over that hill. And that's what you do. There is no substitute for quality, crisp, sharp route running. There is no substitute for that. You could be all, you know what the best people have always said? You could be all the flash that you want to be in the world. But flash without the dash equals no cash. What's up, Giants? 34. James Williams, only quarterback drafted from Duke. Who else was drafted from Duke? Who was drafted from Duke? Let's look that up. Duke QBs drafted. Because there's other ones. There are other Duke quarterbacks that came out. I know that. Let's see here. Where are there other quarterbacks from Duke? Now I want to know. Sonny Jurgensen was from Duke. He was drafted. Sonny Jurgensen was from Duke. He was drafted. Dave Brown, of course. I'm not going to talk about Dave Brown. Spencer Fisher, who never played in the league. And Daniel Jones. Okay, there you go. All the Duke quarterbacks, all the great Duke quarterbacks. Sonny Jurgensen, Dave Brown, Daniel Jones. I'm not seeing that being a good thing. What do we see here? Let's drop the venerable James Williams in here because, we only have 39 likes. And we got Mark from Barbados. We're going to drop James. We're going to drop Mark. We're dropping everyone into this house because you know what? It's Old Home Week.
Good morning. What up, y'all? What's going on?
What's going on, Mark?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning to you. James, you are looking very wide awake today.
Is that sarcasm, brother? I feel that like that's sarcasm.
That's slightly. You look like I feel this morning. I was telling people earlier, I'm not into drinking like inexpensive beer, but Busch Beer makes a beer called Apple beer, and it's only a summertime thing. And it comes in 24-ounce cans, and it tastes just like apple juice. So I was sucking those down. I told you about this yesterday too, but I had to tell you. Because I was in my friend's garage drinking beer at 11:30 in the afternoon, or technically 11:30 in the morning on Friday. So I had to run out and buy some of this beer last night. And let's put it this way: it was a good time. It was a good time.
Busch Apple.
Busch Apple. There's got to be more alcohol content in it because you get after like the first 3, you're like, what the heck just happened to me? Let's say we got Ray from Virginia says, I'm number 38. Let's go, Dave Brown. So, James and Mark, you have the Daniel Jones having the issues. You have Daniel Jones having the problems. You have Daniel Jones not looking good in camp. People are already sitting there. Pat Leonard's already pressing Joe Shane and Dable, who doesn't like that at all. I'm going to start with you first, James. Is there anything in your mind that you are worried about right now, even though it's only been 3 days of practice with Daniel Jones?
Nah, well, I'm a little bit different. Like I told you, I think I said on the stream when I was at your crib that my mindset for this year is different than most fans. Like, my advice to most fans is this: if you go into this year with kind of a, I don't want to say like don't care, carefree, but just kind of let's just see what happens. Like, no serious expectations. You'll enjoy this year a lot more than if you approach it with every day, every report, living and dying off everything that happens every second. The Daniel Jones stuff. I'll be honest, like, to hear Peter King from NBC, he's going around the training camps. If you look him up on YouTube, there's a hilarious clip I sent you where he's like, "Well, the Giants offense hasn't looked great here." And it's like, I just left a comment that's like, we just got to camp. It's the first couple of days. You're basically playing pitch and catch in jerseys and shorts with the big padded concussion helmets they're wearing now. But if you can't look good now, then I don't know what to tell people. Like, you gotta start reading the tea leaves. People, none of us are Confucius, but you gotta start reading the tea leaves. If Shane and Dabo, like I said, they just came from watching White Vic, and now they're here watching DJ and Danny Dimes. Yeah, get out of here. And I'm pretty sure they're like, holy crap. Well, let's get ahead of the story and let's start putting out little fillers. So let's get ahead of it. So when businesses and this entertainers, this crap is done, let's get ahead of it. So when we get to like week 7, week 8, and we're looking like, oh yeah, this is not looking great, then they can go, well, we said in the beginning of the off season that this was going to be a slow grind and guys are learning new offense, it's a new system and yada yada yada, whatever. But just don't really have super expectations this year. And then guess what? If Daniel Jones goes out and throws for 60 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, runs for 1,000 yards, and sets NFL records, that'll be amazing, and we'll all be happy and sing Kumbaya in the streets. But the odds of that happening are very slim to zero. So
I want to get that same question to Marcus, but I got to answer this to Tyrone. Watch game film, Tim. These guys are fast one-cut hitters. They're doing the best in conference with continuing the NFL. Waddle and Chase, dude, it's evolving. Tyrone, I'm going to tell you 2 things right off the bat about your comment. I'm not trying to pick on you. Waddle and Jamar Chase both know how to run routes. Waddle is a precise route runner. He's not. Kadarius Toney is not. There is a difference between these guys are exceptional and
polished. They're polished.
Polished. We have to see what Jamar Chase was an NFL wide receiver in college because of his ability to run routes. Kadarius Toney did not have that ability at Florida. He had to have a COVID year before he could actually be something special. That's all I'm gonna say. We got a super sticker from Don. Don's always supporting the kids. I always appreciate when Big Don drops in because Don, he knows all the money goes to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. So thank you for supporting the big kids, Big Don. I'm gonna ask you the same question, Mark from Barbados. Daniel Jones has looked interesting to say the best at these first 3 days. From the island perspective, is there anything that you are sitting there looking at it going, you know what, this just doesn't seem good? That, to James's point, you're 3 days in running in shorts and helmets and you're not looking good. If anything, you would think he would look better against the defense when you're basically know what's coming at times.
Well, the defense knows what's coming too, right? But I mean, I don't know. I think it's too early to tell. I really don't have too much to say. I mean, you can get into he completed 17 of 22 or 15 of 22 or whatever, and then you can talk about the fact that it's 3rd and long and maybe that's difficult and all that. But to be honest with you, until they probably get to preseason or something, I don't really have too much to comment. I mean, it's a brand new scheme and all that, and I guess I can see what James was saying. Let's just manage expectations. I think that's very good. You need to manage expectations.
My concern is he has multiple interceptions, multiple bad throws, and there's actually been at times because we don't know fully because the Giants aren't really allowing people to film practices. But there has been times that people have said, or beat writers have said, there's head scratchers. There was one play that they even said the nearest player he threw to was Xavier McKinney, and Xavier McKinney wasn't even in the play.
Yeah, but do you?
Sorry.
But do you think that that's partially because the scheme is new? You're trying to know, especially because the way how the system is supposed to be giving more autonomy to the wide receivers. So the QB and the wide receivers have to be on the same page, and they're trying things, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. And you don't think that's part of it?
I'm going to tell you right off the bat why I'm going to say no to that, Mark, because the wide receivers right now are not making adjustments on their routes. Yes, they are going to have more autonomy to make, kind of like a Kevin Gilbride thing. They're going to have more abilities to change their routes, but they're not practicing that right now.
Okay.
they haven't even gotten into that yet.
I think Jones is always going to be a QB who is going to throw the bonehead interception. I just think that's his MO. But the question is, can he make enough plays to overcome that? And that is,
I think that's a good way. I
don't know the answer to that. So
that's a great way to say it.
Yeah. I think he's always going to be that. And I don't want to compare him to Eli, but Eli would throw the odd bonehead situation, right? But Eli is we know what Eli was. So the question is whether Jones can make enough plays to overcome that situation. Don't know.
The thing about Eli, and this is the thing that people kind of just pass over because we always try to forget about Giant history. Eli was not a gunslinger coming out of Ole Miss. Kevin Gilbright's offense, even going back to the Houston Oilers, was a gunslinger, run and shoot mentality offense. Stacking getting four wide receivers and throwing the ball deep and taking that shot to loosen up the middle of the defense. So a lot of Eli's interceptions in the beginning parts of his career was because of the fact that he was doing something in some ways not out of his comfort zone, but something he didn't do a lot of. And he was basically told, if you make a mistake, you're going to at least make that mistake deep. The problem with and if you take a lot of Eli's interceptions and I laugh because I always say Eli Manning was the unluckiest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Anytime there was a tip pass for Eli Manning, how many Giant fans say, no, James is shaking his head because he knows where I'm going. That's an interception. That's an interception. No matter what, Eli Manning could have the ball tipped at the line, have 10 Giants around it, and one guy from the defense on there, and the guy from the defense would come down with it. I mean, sometimes it just made me laugh. So I'm like, oh my God, Eli Manning is the unluckiest quarterback. But Kevin Gilbright's thought process was, if you're going to make the mistake, you're going to make it deep. And that's what happened to Eli Manning. That's why he had those 17 interceptions and 24 touchdowns that second season, and even going up in 2007. In 2007.
But somehow he was always able. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark.
No, I was going to say that
frozen. We can't tell if you're talking.
Yeah. I realize I'm frozen on my end too. So I was like, I don't know what's going on there. But but I was going to say that's the thing about Eli, though. I mean, he just would forget the last play.
Right.
And somehow, he was just good at that, and he would somehow be able to make the play to win the game. And he was certainly his best at the 2-minute drill. I mean, that's like what he lived for, right? So I mean, we have no idea and no clue, and maybe we do, but maybe we just saying that because we want it to work out. But we have no idea or any clue if what kind of QB DJ is on that end. I do think that the last 2 years certainly hurt his development, because if Jones didn't have the rookie season he had, I'm not suggesting it was the most fabulous rookie season, but if he didn't have that, I think you would just forget about him. But because he had that, that the offense was dysfunctional for the last couple of years, you're saying, well, maybe with these guys, let's see what happens. I think it's nearly impossible for him, to be honest with you, because I don't think he can do well enough to gain the new contract. But I mean, who knows? But I just don't see it. So I see that we're going to go for a drop a QB next year and forget all about the.
I think we're definitely going to think about dropping QB. We got a big super chat from Big Don, who evidently wants to get me pissed off. He says people forget
Double R.
Ruben Randall caused so many picks. Ruben Randall is the only player that I saw Eli Manning yell at during that Chicago primetime game when he threw 3 interceptions all to Ruben Randall because Ruben Randall, having the ability to make the route adjustments, ran the wrong routes.
Evan Ingram too.
I will never forget that, James. I will never forget that game. That was the first time I saw Eli Manning walk to the sideline yelling at another player, yelling at Ruben Randall after that second pick.
Yeah. No, I remember. I think we all, well, most of us remember that. And Ruben Randall, remember, he's the one that came out, was it a few months ago or maybe even a year ago now, and said the Giants offense hasn't looked the same since he left, or the last time when he was here, we had a top whatever offense, whatever he tweeted out. It was something crazy just out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, Ruben Randall, he's alive. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, because he flamed out everywhere else that he went.
But real quick, I just want to say just to end the Daniel Jones thing, because I honestly, when I come on here, I'm not going to be talking about him too much because the time is here. He's in training camp, we'll be in preseason, and then the season will be here. So all the speculation and all that, we don't have to do that. He's already out there practicing. He's already there. So the one thing I will say is just one crazy thing. Just think about this. This kid is in year 4. Like, I don't care about it's a new system and this guy's been put through a lot. Listen, if all of us in the chat, if we all worked at a company and that company went under and then got bought over by a different company, and then that company came in with a whole new direction and a whole new business plan or model how they wanted us to do things, and all of us working in the company had to learn a new system and format, and if we couldn't conform to that, they'd let us go. That's how life works. Yeah. If you can't learn the new system, you get fired. That's how it is in business. You have to learn and move forward and conform. It's the same thing in sports. It's the same thing anywhere. So I don't want to hear that. And the second thing is when you hear Shane or Dabo come out talk about, we want the quarterback going into year 4 that was picked number 6 in the draft to become comfortable with calling off plays and saying what plays he likes and what he doesn't want to run, and even changing plays at the line and controlling the offense. I'm going to say it again. Just read the tea leaves on what you see and what you hear, and you won't be stressed this year. It's simple. We're at the point where, like, this year, none of us should be stressed, because in the back of our minds, it's like when you're coming to the end of a relationship. Yeah, you may still like the girl. Yeah, you may still want it to work. You may even put in effort for it to work. But in reality, you've been with the girl long enough that you know it's not going to work, and you guys are just slowly going down. Yeah. And you're just there for the ride. We're just here for the ride, people. That's all it is. We're just here to see. We're evaluating players, our rookies, the system that's in play, Shane, Dabo, the coordinator. But we're just here for the ride this year. Just enjoy it. Don't stress. Don't sit up here and be mad in the middle of the season and be like, oh my God, he hasn't learned anything, or he's still the same. He's always been the same.
It's true. He has always been the same. And I'm going to respond this to Tyrone and I think the Giants 34 are putting in. Tim, I'm telling you, the tree has new limbs. They're running different routes and they're open. They're shifty. They're moving in space. Go watch from a training camp. They run like tiny. But here's the problem. I just watched a bunch of the Receiver Factory videos. Here's the problem. They're moving in space. Watch the video, Tyrone. They're cones. There are flat cones that they're running between. They are not just all over the field being a jitterbug. Watch, they have sleds in front of them. That's the key phrase you just said. They're learning to move in space. Kadarius Toney does not move in space. Kadarius Toney is a jitterbug. Kadarius Toney, what we used to refer to as a scat back. He would be all over. They're not learning how to be Tyreek Hill. They are learning to play in space, which is what we refer to as learning how to properly run routes in a confined area. Kadarius Toney doesn't do that. He has to be in the open field. That's why if you watch Kadarius Toney last year, a lot of his passes were quick outs, quick swing passes. Quick passes, quick slants, not things that are precise routes. But I've already watched, like James was talking, like 6 videos. And if you watch what they're running within the lines, They're running in between cones. That is called, what we refer to, kiddies, is proper route running. There is a humongous difference. The league is not changing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as a former player, as a person that's been watching the since 76, you have the 46 zone, you have the mouse attack, you have the run and shoot, you have the K gun, you have all these other offenses and defenses that came into the league and flamed out. Why? Since the beginning of time. Why? Because with proper technique and proper coaching and film, you are easily able to decipher these things if it's not run properly, which is the downfall of most players. That's all I got to say about that.
Well said.
Forrest Gump was on yesterday.
No, that's well said.
Redridge says Jones will be benched midway through the season. Take it to the bank. If Jones is going to get benched, guys, when do you see it happen? Mark,
Probably.
we'll let you go first, Mark. When is that going to happen?
Yeah. Oh, if he's going to get benched, that means he's really playing horrible. So I would suggest probably maybe around game 6, between 6, 7, somewhere around there. That's what I think.
6 and 7, James?
I'm honestly going to say if he remains healthy and he's just playing bad, I'm going to stretch it to like 10, 11, because the whole point of this is they're going to leave him out there so he can really play within their system with all these other skill position players, so that there's no coming back. Like once we bench him, it's over. It's done. This DJ era is over. So I think the staff is going to give him enough rope, quote unquote, excuse the term, to hang himself. Right. And then once he does and we yank him, because we don't want Tyrod to come in, and Tyrod's not going to light the league on fire, but he's probably going to be more efficient and win more games than DJ. And we don't really want that too early. There's 17 games. We kind of want to tank. Like, I hate to say, this is kind of the year we want DJ to go out there and be DJ. Like, be yourself. Let it loose, as he said. Go ahead, baby. Cut it loose. Do your thing.
Let it fly.
But if he's playing that badly,
let me answer this one. Let me answer this one first again, Tim. We have to understand the game is changing. The Tony routes runs. He doesn't run routes. Giants, if I'm not yelling at, but he doesn't run routes. That's the problem with Kadarius Toney. He can't even get on the field as a special teamer to return punts because he's not disciplined enough to follow his blockers. You can love Kadarius Toney. You can kiss the altar of the ring at the altar of Kadarius Toney, but don't tell me. I've said this a million times. Don't pee down my leg and tell me it's raining. He doesn't know how to run routes. If you watch the Receiver Factory, which I've watched now 17 videos, they run in confined spaces. They are running between the lines. They are running between cones. They are running in front of sleds in front of them. That is called learning how to run a disciplined route. They are not jitterbugging and hoping to the world that the cavalry doesn't show up and kill him. If you can't get on the field to return a fucking punt when you are the 17th pick overall, because of the fact that you are not disciplined enough to follow your blockers on either the punt or the kickoff, like I said again, don't piss down my leg and tell me it's raining. Because it ain't. Yeah. Learn discipline. Learn footwork. And Tony does not have insane footwork. I see, right? People need to learn stuff. And I'm not picking on people, but you got to learn. Use your mind. Don't follow what you see on the field, because Tony had one good game. Actually, he didn't even have one good game. He had 3 good quarters in an entire season, and most of his yards came against Dallas. And now he's making some nice catches on some bad throws by Daniel Jones, and people are like, oh my God, look at his route running.
With no pads.
With no pads.
No pads.
When I drop a 40-yard pass next week, I want people to kiss my ass. Literally, because I want them to then say, wow, look at Tim. He could be a quarterback. He could be an NFL quarterback. No, it's one throw. And I've even told James a million times, I probably only got one throw in me. This is a one big deal. It's going to be a perfect spiral. It's going to be like that guy that goes out and throws the first pitch opening pitch at a baseball game, throws a strike, and then probably not 50 Cent, because we saw 50 Cent and how he threw that opening pitch. But then you have other people that are probably going to sit there and say, you know what? I got nothing else left. We're going to drop in Giants 34 here, guys. We're dropping you in Giants 34. I got to get out of here in 6 minutes because I got to hang some TVs. What's up, Giants 34?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're on with Mark. You got James here. You got me sitting here talking.
All
Yo.
right. Hey, what's up, y'all? Now, I understand what you're saying. I get it completely. But you have to understand that, like, when you keep saying, Tim, that he got benched last year, he wasn't running routes, he wasn't this. We were running an out there.
I never said you got benched.
Well, not benched, but I'm just saying we said that about all the players from last year, about Love and everything like that. But we also have to understand that regime last year was shitty. That regime right there didn't even know what to do. So when these guys wasn't playing up the par, these guys didn't know football last year. We can see that.
Wait a minute. There are guys for 2 years that sat there and kissed the ring of the Joe Judge altar.
I was never one of those guys. I agree with you.
Yeah, wait. And now people are telling me he was shitty? No. Like I said, you know what they say? Shit rolls downhill. And I'm
right along with you.
Wait a minute, no, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling at people in general. But then the problem is, you know what they also say? Shit rises to the top. I'm the cream of the crop. If you play me out, if my name was Sega, because I ain't going out like no punk.
But yeah, so to me, it's like I'm taking everything with a grain of salt this year of what I see. So I'm just looking at it as, okay, now we're running a system where we know, well, hopefully we're running a system that we know that Brian Dable can call his plays and make this game more upbeat, or spread it open and actually have good plays being ran that's predictable and different things like that, and letting these guys just play. Because like I said, on Receiver Factory, I know that you just said you was watching it. You seen Stephon Diggs out there running around.
I'm watching Brandon White, Stephon Diggs. I just saw Jensen.
So there's ways that he can be used in that same way, because actually Kadarius Toney was actually on one of those episodes too, and that's why I referred back to that. But I'm just saying, like, maybe we can use him in that way. You just gotta teach him in that way. Like, you have to put him in that position to run the route. But when you're running a Jason Garrett offense where it's just flies, comebacks, and all of that, it's gonna look crazy. He's going to look like he doesn't belong out there running routes, because we don't have anything else to show for it, or no other receivers being taught properly out there. So all I'm saying is, you got to give it a chance. I know this guy can play. I know this guy can do it. Just like when Tyreek Hill came out, what they say? Oh, Tyreek Hill couldn't run routes either. But he had to learn. We have to get people in here that can teach these guys to be able to do things, and we also have to have the play caller to be able to put them in position to make those plays and show what he can do. So that's all I was just saying about it. I agree with what you're saying, though, for the most part.
Do you want me to smash your whole world right now? Not to be mean.
Please do.
Are you aware that the play sets and a lot of the offenses that Kansas City and Buffalo ran were similar to those that were in the Jason Garrett playbook? That there is a large similarity between the two offenses in reference to play calling and plays itself.
But this is what I'm.
The only difference is there's more predicated motion on that is going to be used by the Shane and the. I should raise that.
And the other difference is the quarterback. You gotta remember, Jason Garrett had to work with the quarterback that couldn't recognize defenses. That he had to get the ball out of his hands fast. He had to do all these things because we have a deficiency at quarterback. That's why I always ask you, if we have a better quarterback, do our players at the wide receiver position get better? Yes. Quarterback makes wide receivers better, not the other way around. Majority of the time.
You're 100% right because we've said it a million times on this show. How many wide receivers left the Giants during Eli Manning's tenure and excelled?
Exactly. And look, and I'm gonna give you one better. Was Tyreek Hill really Tyreek Hill when they had I forget the quarterback, Alex Smith? No, he wasn't running the same routes and doing all of that stuff. They opened up the playbook when they got a quarterback that can actually throw sidearm, throw 50 yards or 60, 70 yards down the field, being able to look away and throw past. That's when he started to develop. It was a different quarterback back then.
Well, actually, again, I don't want to, I don't want to wreck you. First season with Alex Smith for Tyreek Hill, 75 catches, 1,183 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, that's. I never said that he wasn't a bad quarterback. I never said that.
No.
But I'm saying
I understand what you're saying.
A lot of
I just got to give both sides.
No, yeah. And remember, what was the thing about Alex Smith? He couldn't throw over 30 yards. He wasn't a deep downfield threat.
No, he's not at all.
Numbers that he was putting up. It's a little different. That's all I was just saying.
No, I agree. Like I said, I'm not. Hold on 1 second, Mark. I'm not done yelling. I'm not done yelling at Giant 34. I'm not yelling at Giant 34.
That's right.
I'm just busting Giant 34's chops because I love him, especially when he comes into the chat. I'm glad you came into the stream, man. I think this is fantastic that you actually came on. I understand what you're saying, but my thing is this. And this is the only thing. If you actually watch the Receiver Factory videos, and I'm not saying you because I actually understand your point now. I'm not saying Giants 34, but I understand your point. I'm actually very glad you came on. But if you watch the videos, they're actually teaching people to run in space, which is the whole thing. Is what I'm saying. That is where you dictate proper route running is learning to run in space. And I understand Mark's. I understand Giant 34's opinion 100%. And I'm glad that he came in because I've always loved his comments. Oh, he's coming back here. I was actually saying something nice about you, and you disappeared.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing something new, saying nice about people, and you don't show up. What the hell's wrong with you? What I was saying is I understand what you're saying, and I understand your point. But my only point about the Receiver Factory video was. And I understand your point was the fact, like I mentioned before, they're actually teaching them to run in space, which is the way to properly. It's not a change in the NFL, because the NFL always taught players to run routes in space, because that is called proper route running. The problem is if you go back to look at Kadarius, and I hope Kadarius excels. I hope Kadarius gets 1,000 yards. I hope he turns into Tyreek Hill. Kadarius Toney, if you watch his film from last year. He never really ran routes. He would run a quick out. He would run a slant. He would go out on a flare. He wouldn't really run a route that you could sit there and say, okay, he's running a post. He's doing this. His game was more predicated on getting the ball into his hands and then seeing what he can do.
That's true. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I was saying about the Receiver Factory. I actually like the Receiver Factory videos because of the fact that it really does show that a player like Tyreek Hill and these other people are actually learning how to play in space.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think that's exactly what you want them to be.
Yeah, I see a lot of NFL players using that stuff now, and it's other ones out there too. But they're using that because they're trying to counteract what the defense is doing. Because as playing cornerback, you go off of tendencies and different movements, how the receiver's head turn, or you know what I'm saying, how they stick their foot in the ground and they be able to jump off the routes. But to me, like the Receiver Factory stuff that they're using, I don't mean to give them promo on your show.
Oh no, it's actually I'll give them promo. It was actually good. It was actually fun videos to watch.
Yeah, it's just like they're trying to counteract what they're doing and everything, and not show what they're doing and running combination routes and different things like that. So it's actually like a good thing. But I definitely agree with what you're saying.
All right, hey James, take over the show a minute. I got to answer a phone call. James, take over the show.
All right.
Hold on a second. I got to jump off camera a second. Giants 34, don't you disappear either.
Oh no, I won't.
Okay.
Oh wow, he really bounced. All right, so let me ask a quick question. like seriously, with the last thing on the Daniel Jones thing, Mark, what, like, how bad is bad? Do you think, just to put it in perspective, because it's like there's a lot of people out here who really think, we're going to the playoffs, and maybe we will and all that, but you said like week 7 or week 6 maybe he might get pulled. So like how bad is bad you think he's got to be playing for people to finally see the light on this? Because this is kind of like getting a roundabout issue. And I know you said earlier that we're in a wait and see, and you're right. Like we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I could be completely wrong, and I have to come on here and eat my pie. But like, how bad is bad you think he'd have to be playing before people finally go, okay, it's time to close the book on this guy?
Look, I hope we're all wrong, but I don't. I mean, it's unlikely,
Yeah,
to be honest.
We don't want to suck. We don't want to be bad, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how bad is bad? I mean, like within the first 6 games, if you only had like I don't know, 7 TDs and 7 interceptions,
No, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I mean that would be bad. I mean, I don't see him, if playing a whole season, throwing 34 TDs and like 10 interceptions. I don't see that at all. I would see his ratio, if he did well, his ratio would be like 2 to 1 in my opinion, and we would have to win games. But it's not only that though. It's not just the numbers. It's what happened in critical points of the game at the 2-minute part. How does he command the huddle at those points? Does he make the right calls when it's critical and when it's important? Because ultimately that's what it boils down to, those big plays, those significant plays. And you've seen a couple flashes of that, and you could kind of come up with all kind of reasons as to why it hasn't continued or whatever the case may be. But but the point is, I mean, I think you're right in a sense that no matter what, you've got to overcome these things. And in year 4, it's very unlikely. I mean, it's just very unlikely. But what the hell are you gonna? You're gonna roll that way this year, as you said, and see how it goes. I mean that's the only thing you can do. So and the reason why I say it might be a little earlier. Initially in my head, I thought 10 games or something. But the reason why I pulled it back is because you've got teammates. And you got other people in it, and you don't want. And if he's playing really bad, the teammates are not going to want him out there. So they're going to want to. They're going to want to play, and they're going to want to try to win games. If they see that you can't win with this guy, they're going to ask for the next guy up. So that's why I think it could be shortened. But again, it depends. You could be kind of like be playing up and down. You could kind of start the season. Like if you took last season, for instance, where like there were some flashes initially, and then you had the Saints game, and then they went through. It could extend to like a 10 or 11, and then of course, So you just really don't. You just I don't know. You just don't know. You got to really wait and see how it goes. So I'm not really too concerned about camp and all that kind of thing right now. I want to see the actual game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think we all just want to see, like, put the pads on and at least see some preseason games instead of just watching us scrimmage ourselves. But G34, you brought up some good points with the Tony and what you were saying about, when you elevate the quarterback position, it makes the receivers and the entire team better. Which is I don't know why people seem to forget that it's the most important position on the field. But what do you think? Like how bad? Like, let's say Tony is healthy, and let's say Tony does, he buckles down and he's studying hard, and he's learning, because it takes time to learn. Daniel Jones is in year 4, and he still hasn't mastered it. So Tony, I don't expect him to be a master, but what if Tony's healthy and Shep and Galladay and Bellinger and Saquon, let's say all the skill position players are healthy and actually seem like they're on the same page and been studying. And so what do you, same question to you, what do you think, like, how bad is Daniel Jones have to look before people, the coaches say, all right, like Mark was saying, we got to pull this guy because we don't want to just look like we're tanking the season on purpose. And other players on the team are going to lose interest.
Me personally, the only thing that I need to see, I don't want to see the turnovers. Like if the turnovers start coming in bunches, that's when I will pull him. Because it's always the question of where we already know Daniel Jones can throw the ball. We know Daniel Jones can be accurate. We know Daniel Jones is supposed to be a decent quarterback. But we always have that issue where he's fumbling and throwing interceptions. The most ridiculous picks of I was trying to play superhero ball. If I start to see that, that's when I say I need to pull it. Because with the way this division is and how we always, it's very rare that somebody wins the division in double digits. It's very rare. I think that we can do something. I know most Giants fans wouldn't want to, but we can actually pull out some wins with Tyrod Taylor. So I think we got to get him out of there a little bit earlier. So just in case, if we go, oh well, it maybe was just Daniel Jones, having issues. Tyrod Taylor is making us win 4 or 5 extra games or something like that. Oh yeah, we just need to get a good quarterback in. So I think if you start seeing the turnovers come in a bunch, pull them. And that could be in week 3, 4, 5, like whatever. I just want to give this team a chance, and I want to give the fans some hope that we're moving in that right direction, and that this coaching staff understands that, and we're going into this situation in the season saying that we're holding people accountable, and it doesn't even matter that it's the starting quarterback. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, you're right, because the only real way you can't evaluate the team and the coaching staff if the quarterback and the offense are not progressing and playing well. If we're still looking like the same doldrum of the last couple of years, it's like you said, how are we going to know how good Tony is? Exactly. How are we going to know? I mean, we spent $70 million on a number 1 wide receiver that has the same amount of touchdowns as all 4 of us. So it's like.
Look, and that's my issue right there. I've seen, and I know he was with Matthew Stafford, but I saw plays where he was making. He did lead the league in touchdowns. It's like he touched that. What's that on Space Jam? He touched the basketball and lost all his powers or something.
Oh yeah,
we are referring to Michael Jordan Space Jam.
Yeah, the Jordan.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yo, there's only one Space Jam. We're all of a certain age here. Yeah.
Be specific. Be specific.
You're right.
So it's the Quad City DJ Space Jam.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at it like that. I'm like, these guys, there's guys that came here that can play, but I think it's just the quarterback that can't get him the ball. He's a 50-50 ball type guy. It's a lot of quarterbacks that can't throw that ball because they don't trust that. And when the Giants were trying to make him, trying to force him on us as Giants fans, he is the guy, they wasn't going to let him throw that ball. You know what I'm saying? Go beat down the field and put that ball in harm's way, because you have to have trust in that receiver to make that play, a.k.a. Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant. They couldn't make that play. He had to get a certain type of receiver in order to make him comfortable, because he didn't want to put that ball in harm's way. And I think that's the same thing with Daniel Jones. He was scared to. And that could have been the coaching regime, too, who's making him scared to throw that ball. Oh, you got to be perfect. You got to be perfect. And you're not going to be perfect in the NFL. They're getting paid on the other side of the ball, too, as well. So at the end of the day, just make the plays that you can make and just be a gunslinger. Be like, you want to act like Eli? Be Eli.
You want to look like Eli?
Put the ball up. Don't be scared, because as soon as you hesitate in the NFL, that 1 second or whatever, the ball is being picked off, or you're fumbling the ball, you're doing things like that. So I just think that we have to, get that under control. But if he can't do it, get him out of there early. Get him out of there early, please.
Tim?
Yes.
Right there before you, right. One of the things actually at training camp is they're saying that Jones is holding on to the ball a bit long, but that's not what I wanted to ask you. Before you went off, you started to make a point. You were comparing the KC offense to Jason Garrett's offense.
Right.
I wanted, so I was injured. I was going to ask you if you could expand on that. I mean, on that and kind of, so we could.
Jason Garrett's offense is predicated on the Dan Coryell offense back in the 70s and the 80s, Air Coryell. He is predicated off that, and most of that offense ran motion. It was one of the very few first offenses going back into the 70s that was basically predicated on motion and allowing the wide receivers to have the ability to change their routes. That was the whole big thing about the Coryell offense. He ran it also his first 2 seasons as offensive coordinator when he took over then he changed that when he took over Wade Phillips as head coach. But he ran it under the first 2 seasons successfully under Tony Romo as well. The difference is what happened was when he came to the Giants, the routes are the same. The ability to make the adjustments should have been there, but for some reason in year 2 under Joe Judge, and I still think this was an edict from Joe Judge that says do not allow Daniel Jones to beat us but via the turnover, a lot of those things disappeared. A lot of those portions of the offense went away. Now, a lot of people when they're sitting there going, well, he only runs these certain routes. Well, no, those are usually your primary routes. Then you are given the opportunity to make the adjustment on the fly. The receiver is, but the routes, the formations are basically the same. There's not a wide difference between what they run in Kansas City and Buffalo, and I think Giants 34 even pointed it out. The only difference is the quarterback, the quarterback that were running these systems. And this is why I laugh at people when they tell me this, oh, it's going to be so different. No, for some reason, Jason Garrett's offense going towards the last part of the year in 2019, when they were thinking they were making that push of the playoff run after Seattle, got watered down. And then almost in 2020, all the things that made the Air Coryell offense, and I've always said this a million times, there is nothing new in the NFL. There is nothing that people are going to create that is so special and different that hasn't been done. Everything that you do in the NFL has a history behind it that has probably been done but called something different. Than it did when they're running it now. So the Coryell offense has been around since the 70s. The motion offense has been around since the early 70s. This is nothing new. It's just how often you use it. And Dable even came out and said, this is not something that we are going to run 24/7, the motion offense. This is something that is used to confuse the defense and hopefully create a mismatch. And that's what Jason Garrett's offense was when he was the offensive coordinator prior to coming to the Giants, and then when he became the Giants. But like I said, something happened in between. Something happened that after that, and I've said this before, something happened after that Seattle game where we thought we had an opportunity to make the playoffs, that they just kind of went into the tank. Now, you saw at times how well that offense worked, like in New Orleans last year. On the turf, not worrying about making mistakes, using motion, and how well the offense worked. But the problem is, I still think to this day, it came down from Mount Joe Judge, and that said, Daniel Jones shall not lose this game. And I think that's to Giants 34 point as well. Does Daniel Jones play scared? I can't tell you. But he seems that he hesitates, and there's an old saying back in my 20s, he who hesitates masturbates. It's just what it is, and that's kind of why I want the OG QB. Give me the old-time guy who's not willing, that is willing to go out there and make the mistake and understands that, you know what, you can live and fight another down.
I agree.
I'm not.
And Saquon was healthy in that New Orleans game too. He made some big plays in that comeback.
Very big plays.
He did.
So him looking good in camp is also a good sign for us. Like he's actually very I don't hear a lot of Giants fans talking about him. Like if he's even 80% of what he was his rookie year and actually plays every game and stays healthy, that's going to help Jones, the offensive line, it's going to help everybody because now the defenses are going to actually have to focus back on who's really supposed to be our home run hitter in him. If Tony takes a step, if this Wan'Dale Robinson kid actually looks like, I guess, Darren Sproles 2.0 or whatever he's going to be, he could be a weapon, like you said, a scat back, then okay, we maybe got a little grease starting to cook in the pan. We'll see what happens,
Right. All right, guys, let me burn through some of these super chats real quick. Some of these other things I want to get to. Big Don dropped in the super chat saying Keenan Allen, the route running is perfection. He's not right. He's not wrong. Excuse me. Mike Lee says, and thank you for the super chat, Don. All super chats go to Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Mike Lee says Tony is a sandlot wide receiver, not an NFL wide receiver. I have to agree with that. Tim needs a Snickers, says Motorcycle 36. Chris says, a lot of negative vibes here. Chris, you're too stupid to watch. Goodbye. Tuco dropped in the Giants, you have 48 rugby players in training watching you live. Love James's comments. Bravo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got 11. Red Richie says Tony ran his own plays, never studied the playbook. He's actually not wrong about that. I heard that from some guys in Florida. Mike Lee also says difference is the skill level. They don't have it. We don't have. They have it. We don't have it. Like reference to everything else was going on. AJ says, where do you rank the Giants wide receiver corps in the NFL? I'm going to go around the room real quick on this one because I want to get through a lot of these comments because I got to get going pretty soon. I would say that I would rank the Giants wide receiving core right now probably anywhere between 21 to 25. Because you have a lot of inexperienced guys that haven't proven anything, people coming off of injuries. You got an overpaid $72 million man that you don't know what you're going to get. And you got Darius Slayton potentially, hopefully can make this team and could be the difference maker. James, where do you rank the receiver corps in the Giants?
I'd probably say the same thing for the same reasons. I mean, we're at the bottom of our own division. So if you can't even compete in your division, how are you going to compete with the rest of the league?
Yeah. Mark, what's your rank?
Yeah, the same reasons, Tim, but I'm going to rank him a little bit higher. I'm thinking more like 15, 16.
Okay. Giants 34. Giants 34. Do you have another name besides Giants 34?
You call me Marty.
All right, Marty, where are we ranking? Where are we ranking the Giants wide receiver core in the NFL?
Now, this is healthy or how they are now. That's the difference.
Well, you got to go with how they are now.
Oh, then we're at underneath what you said. So, which is, I would say like 26 because we're not healthy.
Oh, we're under the dirt.
We're under the dirt. I gotta jump all the way down because Chris just so I just called stupid. I didn't call you stupid. I just said you're too dumb to watch. Chris says I'm still here. That's okay. I insult people to their face. It's all good. And I wasn't insulting you, Chris. I'm just picking on you. If you don't watch the show, James can tell you I'm the same person in real life that I am on the mic.
Pretty much.
There's no difference. I would say it to your face. I would say it to you online. Red, what is it? Red says Tony ran his own plays. Let's say Mike difference here. Skills. Moet Olson says Danny Pennies is making Darnay Holmes look like a Pro Bowler in training camp already. Let loose, Danny. I don't disagree. Irish Rover has to say 10 turnovers, 10 touchdowns by Thanksgiving. The O-line will be a big part in the turnovers and the touchdowns. I agree. We're giving a big shout out to Tuto over and over again. Logic's finest we haven't seen in a while. Tony's route can't run routes. The herky-jerky styles looks good but doesn't get results. Daniel Jones will do exactly what he's done the first 3 years. Not accurate, bad choice, bad interceptions. The one thing I do, because I want to burn through these, I want to have a couple minutes with you guys as well. The one thing I want to say about the route running, I'm not harping on Kadarius Toney about the route running. Poor route running also affects your quarterback's ability to be accurate. And that is another issue I have with Kadarius Toney because we always talk about.
I agree with.
We always talk about the quarterbacks have to create a passing window. They have to throw wide receivers open. If you don't know where your wide receiver is going to be at times on the field, Ruben Randall, you are going to have those issues.
And our quarterback is hesitant and gun shy and passes the ball anyway. Yeah. So it's like he's working against himself, and then you're not helping him by not running your routes right.
This was wait, is this a Giant stream or a Cowboys stream? So much Giant bashing. What the fuck did you guys do when I was gone? I wasn't here for these. What were you doing?
We didn't even say anything bad.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Real quick. I know you, but I don't understand when you say facts anymore or what's reality that people get upset. You know, like I don't get it. What up, Logic? You know, like thank you. Like hope, like we all have hope. You all want hope. Hope keeps the world going. Hope keeps us going on bad days and rainy days. But we're like, if I want to hear a bunch of dribble, I'll turn on ESPN and watch the show, the Broadway show. It's like I want to hear something real sometimes. It's like I know a lot of places out here, they're all with the let's be positive, and you could be positive to you're blue in the face. I'm pretty sure General Custer was positive as he was watching the arrows go by his head and his men dying, like, oh, we're gonna make it, boys, we're gonna make it. It's like, and if you don't know who that is, Google it. Oh, there he is. There he is right there.
You gotta have the General Custer box.
I forgot you had that. Yo, you're crazy.
You were at the house. You should know I have General Custer.
I know. I forgot.
Oh my God! But
you got everything back there.
I really don't understand any of these. Like some of these fans, they
just... What do you think? Do you guys really think we're going to the playoffs? You think we're going to the playoffs?
Hell no, man.
Not y'all. No, not y'all. You know, and not even. But I'm just saying in general, like to the Giants fan base, like, you think you're going to the playoffs? Like seriously? If I had a gun to your head and I said, "Yo, true answer. You think the Giants are going to the playoffs?" You think you're going to say yes?
And I don't. I think they don't understand. I hope we're wrong. I hope we're wrong.
Yeah, sure. I hope we win the Super Bowl.
I hope we're wrong too, and I keep saying that. I hope I'm wrong about everything.
Yeah.
But are these same people going to be on here in the middle of the season and say, okay, we suck. Daniel Jones sucks. I was wrong. Are y'all going to come on here and say that? No. Thank you. My fault, Mark. I didn't mean to cut you off. Bro.
No, it's okay. No, it's all right. I was going to say that. Look, I mean, it's really too much to ask for this new leadership to come in here with the salary cap situation and the players we have on the team to come in here, turn it around with no mind to spend. And okay, we had a lot of draft picks, that's fine. But in the end, they're still rookies. And to turn it around just like that, and it's just not going to happen just like that. So, I mean, if we really have like a winning record, that's an overachievement in my opinion. And so I think it's going to take some time. And they're managing your expectations. They're saying even more so than they were even in the beginning. I noticed that they're saying, look, we're going to take this, one step at a time, and they're seeing that even more. They're seeing that even more.
Managing expectations. That should be if they had a motto for like Mets have, you got to believe, and Magic is back and all that. If the Giants had to have a motto, it should be managing expectations. I think that's it. Let's burn through some of these. We got a lot of chats here. Got to burn through. Good. Sure. Reality isn't bashing. Positive thinking or just having blind hope doesn't outweigh reality results. 4-13 is more realistic. I don't do blind hope. I'm a lifelong Giant fan. I agree with that. We also have said, don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid. The Giants are pathetic. I'm realistic, but I think judging at this point is premature. It's been days, weeks, not months. Of course. What is Glenn? Hey, Glenn, what's going on, Glenn? No, if you're a genius, you can create a new build. If you are a genius, you can create a new. Bill did it. Belichick did not create. If we're talking about Bill Belichick, he didn't create anything new. He got Tom Brady. I mean, that's
the greatest quarterback of all time.
Greatest quarterback of all time. Look how much of a genius Bill is now that Tom Brady's gone. Mike Lee said, Judge played not to lose, not to win. I actually agree with that. What do we got? So Joe Burrows almost sacked, most sacked player last year, went to the Super Bowl. Jones is just not that good. I can't disagree with that. Chris says that he's here. All good, Chris. I'm just busting your chops. I don't know if you're stupid. I can't tell. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. I love everyone. It's the new kinder, gentler Tim, Mr. Kumbaya. Our wide receiver core is 26 because of DJ. Without Jimmy G, our wide receiver. That's a good question. That is a good question by Glenn here, and I want to go back around and ask about this. I'm going to start with James. Does the wide receiver core ranking change if it's Jimmy G compared to Daniel Jones?
Yes. Jimmy G is not
with Jimmy G.
Yo, you know what? I don't know about 15. It'd be somewhere around 15, maybe somewhere between 14 to 18. Because Jimmy G is not Steve Young or Joe Montana, but he's definitely better than Jones, and he's proven himself in more clutch situations than Jones. So yeah, the core, if they stay healthy, like G34 Marty was saying, if they're healthy. And we have a guy like Jimmy G who has some experience and has proven that to a certain extent. I mean, he did play in a Super Bowl, You know, and he did win a couple games in the playoffs just last year. He beat Aaron Rodgers, who everybody loves. So I do think, yeah, like 14-18, definitely.
Okay,
With a
Marty,
better
what
quarterback.
is your pick if Jimmy G is quarterback?
Yeah, I
if
think
Ji-
that. I think
okay,
that would be the.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Marty.
I would say, I said what, like 26? It would be the
Yeah, you were
range that
saying
Daniel
you were
Jones-
saying about 26.
I'm gonna honestly go up to 20.
Okay.
I don't like Jimmy G. He's
Neither do I.
okay. And the reason why it's like Jimmy G is a system quarterback at the end of the day. I believe Kyle Shanahan's system is the reason why you see him have the numbers he's having or being able to be successful at the end of the day. Because it's like, and if not to mention, he misses a lot of people. He makes the craziest throws, just
does.
like Daniel Jones, the
He does.
craziest interceptions, and you just like, what are you doing? It's wide open. You're missing the guy by 5 yards and different things. I don't think coming here and without knowing what we have at Brian Dable or Kefka, I'm not giving him a that much over top of Daniel Jones at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Mark, where's your ranking of Jimmy G as quarterback?
Right. I think that would be the perception, but I don't really agree with that. I just don't think Jimmy G is all of that. And if I look at what Jones is now, as we know him to be, and Jimmy G, I don't think it'll make a whole lot of difference, to be honest with you. That's my yeah.
All right, we're at 44 likes. We need to get those likes up because I got to jump off soon because I got to hang some TVs. My thing is with Jimmy G. Most career throws, I believe, in a season's 466. He had a great defense. Those first that playoff run with the 49ers. Does he make the Giants better than Daniel Jones? He's got like a 67% completion percentage, career completion percentage, I believe it is. I don't think he moves the needle as much. I think maybe the Giants move into the 20s, the receiving core, but I don't think he moves. I don't think he moves the needle that much. What we else got here? After so many bad seasons, we have to hope for a better team to watch. I do think things will get better soon. I hope so too. You have to talk positive and negative. You do yin and yang. You got
Yin and yang. Balance.
That's what magnets are. An MC Scat Cat. Track. Well, it ain't kitchen. Sorry, I had to do a little Paul Abdul. Jay says, hell no. Mike Lee says, hell no. Logic's fine. We're not going to read what that one says. Jay says, we are not there yet. I agree. Glenn says also, yes, Jimmy G, we are making the wild card. I don't see that. What is
I'm not saying all that. No.
We're not going to go that crazy. Jeff says, let me leave you with this. Trade Jones to the Rams for the backup, John Wolford. If you want action, this guy will give it to you. Make no mistake about it. I don't know much about John Wolford. Anyone know much about John Wolford, the backup quarterback for the Rams?
I don't know who that is. I got to Google that. I got to Zach Google that, man.
Yeah, Zach Attack's probably hanging out with his girlfriend. Let's see. Chris says we need a Bart Oates to get a few more wins this year. I don't think. I mean, I would love to have a number 65 Bart Oates in the middle of the line from the '86 Giants. Came over from the Philadelphia Baltimore Stars from the USL in that territorial signing. Probably one of the best centers that the Giants have ever had. But would he contribute to a few more wins this year? No, because you still have to worry about the right guard, your right tackle, the health of your left tackle, and I'm still not 100% sold on Glowinski yet. What does Chris have to say? Chris says, okay, I have to admit you are okay. It's okay to admit you are wrong. I admit that all the time. One way or another, there are too many variables to say if the Giants will make the playoffs, especially this early in the regime. I agree. I always admit what I'm wrong. Tyrone says 6 to 8 wins if healthy, only because our schedule and the quarterback we played against, our schedule isn't overwhelming. They said that the only problem I have with that, Tyrone, is they said that about our schedule last year, that we were going to roll through our last 8 weeks of the schedule. And I kept saying to people, you cannot judge the schedule in October, November, in the middle of July. Because teams that you think are going to be bad are going to be good. Things that you think are going to be good are going to be bad.
And the problem is the schedule may not seem overwhelming, but our team is not overwhelming. Like, we're not – nobody's scared of the Giants.
No, nobody's – ooh, we're going to play the Giants. Ooh. Let's see here. We can't afford Jimmy G. That's 100% correct. We're almost done getting through these. Jimmy is not – I don't think Jimmy G is all that. I've said that a million times. I think he's more of a product of playing with a beyond stellar defense. Jimmy G says Jimmy G is not the Colin Kaepernick. He needs a system built around him to be successful. Once exposed, he does nothing exactly like Kaepernick. You have to admit, with Colin Kaepernick, outside of all the other crap that happened in the league with him and with the league itself, he did get exposed. Colin Kaepernick. He did get the league, and I've said this before, the league adjusts, and he did not adjust with the league. He had that one good season after they benched Alex Smith, which I didn't agree with because Alex was leading the team to the playoffs already. I understand they did it for the playoff Super Bowl run, but once you build a system around him, if you know, it just is what it is. I love this one though. Wallow New York says, no, Jimmy, rather have the porn stash. Gardner Minshew.
I like
Guys,
Minshew.
I want to ask this question. I'm going to start with James. I'm a Minshew fan. I was a Minshew fan in Jacksonville. I hated when the Eagles got him. James, would you start Minshew over Daniel Jones?
Over Daniel Jones? Oh, I thought you were going to say between Minshew or Jimmy. I mean,
no. Would you start?
I would start almost anybody over Daniel Jones. I mean,
So
I would take who was the guy Heineke on Washington
Tyler
that
Heineke.
actually led them to the playoffs. Like I would take him over Daniel Jones because I've seen him in the pocket against us look like a more competent quarterback. Minshew, with less around him in Jacksonville, he looked like a more competent quarterback. So
now in all fairness, Heineke did not lead them to the playoffs. Heineke played in that playoff game.
Oh, okay. All right.
But let's give fairness to Heineke. Mark, would you start Minshew over Daniel Jones?
No, I would. I like Minshew, but
Okay.
I wouldn't start him because of the situation we were in. But I mean, but if you had to maybe just say, well, if they were coming into camp, yeah, I could see playing. I actually like Minshew. I think Minshew's better than most people think. In fact, I probably would start him over Hurts.
No, well, you never. Now, Marty, Minshew is the backup quarterback. Everyone loves the backup quarterback. Would you start Minshew over Daniel Jones if they were both on the same team?
Is water wet?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely do it in a heartbeat. I always like Minshew. I like his pocket presence. I like that he doesn't wow you, but he makes the plays that he needs to make at the end of the day. And he has done it. He has done it with a bad team. He has done it with a good team. He has, you know what I'm saying? It's everything. Line falls down, you know what I'm saying? Have injuries. He's still out there, still producing. That's all I need at the quarterback spot. Someone that can just produce in, bad situations and good situations.
I think that's good. Logic Fine says Daniel Jones is career backup. Jimmy G is a career game manager. The bar is set so low that it seems that if Jimmy G would be good. Nope. Actually, that really sums everything up.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a
put that on the shirt.
We've sucked so bad. We've watched Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm, Daniel Jones. Like, we've sucked so bad that we're sitting up here talking about Jimmy G like he's Joe Montana. Gardner Minshew. Somebody brought up John Wolford. Like, I have to go Google this. John Wolford
over Jimmy G and Gardner Minshew.
Like, that's how much we've fallen. Like, we're talking about Gardner Minshew like he's Jesus with that stash. You got to come save us with the like. It's that's how bad we've fallen. Like oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come on, guys. We can't even hit 50 likes. We've been on for 2 hours. We're an
hour. Hit that like button. Come on, y'all.
We're 37 minutes over where I'm supposed to be. The wife is running late, so I'm not getting in trouble just yet. James, so it's not gonna say anything.
I'm not gonna. Don't want to get cut. Don't
want to get cut. Literally, Cowboys will win the division this season. I don't know. I think Cowboys will win. Liz Motorcycle 365 says, Let's run Jones and Barkley into the ground this year and move on to next year. Joe Rev says, yes, anyone as of right now, yes. True Giant Fire Believer fans, Minshew over. A lot of people are going Minshew over Jones. James B agrees with James. I'd start the kid in Washington over Daniel Jones. Logic's Finest says, I don't know, Logic. I don't know if I should read your next one because you just had a masterpiece. Some fans are blind hope with Danny Kanell and Dave Brown with their quarterback. I have a Danny Kanell number 13 jersey, so I'm not saying anything. Let's see here.
Danny Kanell.
We're going to skip over that one. Let's get OBJ to come in to be the number one quarterback. He did throw the ball. DJ, oh, God, this is a bad one. I don't know if you old guys, I'm young. Well, you guys are a lot younger than I am. Daniel Jones or Scott Bruner?
Oh, my God. You're reaching in the crates here, man.
Scott Brunner came in towards the end of 81 to lead the Giants to their first playoff victory and playoff series in like 10 years. Kind of wheels fell off the bus out of Delaware. They had Parcells benched Phil Simms in 83 for Scott Brunner, almost cost him his job. Believe it or not, I'm going to put Daniel Jones over Scott Brunner. James?
You know what? I'll take DJ, I guess.
Mark?
Yeah, DJ for sure.
Marty?
I was born in '88, so I really wouldn't know anything about this. So, DJ, if you guys are saying that, I trust you.
I got underwear older than you. Oh my God! What else we got here? I'm sorry, your Logic as such a miserable Giant fans. Good luck. I'm sorry, you Logic are such a miserable. Here's the thing: we don't insult Logic.
No, Logic speaks facts, man.
Logic speaks
brother.
facts.
Logic speaks facts, man.
Don't pick on Logic because Logic speaks facts. Logic speaks in absolutes. I'm going to tell you this right now. I am been told I am Mr. Negative. I am this, I am that, I am this, I don't know this. You know what? I said this yesterday, last week, and I've said it again.
I'm raising the stakes right now. This is a poker game. I'm shoving my chips to the middle of the table. I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants in, get in. Anybody wants out, get out.
I bought season tickets. I went out. I was a season ticket holder for years. I canceled them after the Joe Judge fiasco. Right when they signed Joe Judge, I canceled after the Joe Judge press conference, I canceled my season tickets. I have my season tickets back. I am repaying my PSL. I don't want people to sit here and tell me I'm not a real Giant fan. I don't support the team. How many other content creators can right now? A lot of them live in the New York tri-state area. Have put up and shut up and pushed their chips to the middle of the table and said, you know what? I know this team is going to suck, but I'm going to make the point to actually be at all the home games. That's called a fan. When you know something is going to be horrific, when you know it's going to be a train wreck and you still pay money to go see it, that to me is a fan.
I agree.
That's all I got to say about that again. Let's see here. What do we got? Mark's still not moving. All right, we got
Mark is stoic.
Mark is stoic today. Mark is like
Mark
I think we
is
also
stoic,
do
baby.
freeze frame before Mark.
And you thought my picture was frozen, didn't you, all the time?
No, it wasn't. You were just looking good. Mike Lee says you gotta say something nice about DJ. Let's see. What is this person? I agree. You are a true fan. Oh, you're talking about me. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'm not saying spending money makes you a true fan, but all I'm saying is you hear all these people say that you're not a true fan because you don't wear a Giant jersey every time you do a video. No, I'm wearing a champion shirt because I was just in the gym. Yeah, I don't do this because I don't do this. I don't do this because I don't do this. Well, you know what it is? To me, a true fan, like I said, knows you're going to suck. I am a quasi 76ers fan. I admitted that a million times. I sat through 7 years of the process courtside. And I remember when they started getting good and the stadium started filling up again, the Wells Fargo Center. There's a guy named Chet that always sits next to me. And he was sitting next to me for those 7 years. And when the Wells Fargo Center was rocking, one day he looked and turned over and looked at me and said, where the hell were these guys the last 7 years?
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Tim, I tell people all the time that before I became a Giants fan, I was a football fan. So if any team was making these same moves or doing what we were doing, I would say the same exact thing. I'm a football fan. Then I'm a Giants fan because that's what I fell in love with. And at the end of the day, so some of these guys that's fans, that's just, oh, Giants is going to always win. And, oh, everything is beautiful and we're great. No, you got to understand that these things are happening. If it happened to the Eagles, if they were doing the same thing, you would call them out on that bullshit. At the end of the day, you would say, no, they're not going to be good. do the same thing for your team, and it's okay. It doesn't make you less of a fan. It doesn't make you. It doesn't make your Giants shirt that you have in your drawer burn or anything like that. No, you're talking real about your team, and it's okay.
Catch fire like the Omen.
Burn you. I love what this Chris says. This is to Marty. 88. Dang, you missed 86. Well,
Yeah.
he probably would have, even if it was 86, he probably would have been 6 months. So I think he would have been right. I love Moet Olson here. Says this: Mark's picture reminds me of Daniel Jones. And okay, quick, everybody do it.
He's running the Statue of Liberty perfectly.
We are running the Statue of Liberty play right now. We are running it. You know what I'm going to do?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I have to grab something. Hold on.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's bad funny.
After we do, because I keep seeing people with a vintage jersey. This was going to be a surprise, but after we do the ticket giveaway, James, and everyone hangs out with us at the Coaches Club on the August 21st game, I have another giveaway, and this is out of the online Big Blue museum. I found this because James, I was going through the boxes because we're finishing the basement. I have an autographed 1990 Rodney Hampton certified.
Rodney Hampton. That was my man.
We are going to be giving this away sometimes during the season. That is an autographed Rodney Hampton jersey. People forget in 1990, the Giants won the Super Bowl, and Rodney Hampton was the leading rusher on that team until he got hurt the second last game of the season. So we are going to be giving this jersey away sometime during the season. It is autographed. It is signed. It says Rodney Hampton on the bottom. It says Super Bowl champion. I have the PSA. I have it. So I have all the authentic. It's authenticated. So we're going to be giving this away sometimes during the season. So don't know when yet.
Rodney Hampton, not Brandon Jacobs.
Cool.
Rodney Hampton.
Until they say that you hate the Giants, and people say you hate the Giants. Wow.
Oh, you can't. I laugh because just on my floor, I can't believe I'm just on my floor right now.
Give me a minute, kid. That's 10. Okay. Give me a minute.
Yo, if you didn't sit up there and watch Dave Brown play like I did, and Danny Cannell and some of these guys, don't talk to me about hating the Giants because I'm speaking real. I watch Dave Brown play every day.
On my floor, just around my desk, I have a Giants Super Bowl patch from the 86 Super Bowl. I have my Jeremy Shockey jersey.
I miss Shockey too.
My original 1985 Phil Simms jersey. I also have my game worn, which I wore the other day. I should really hang it up. My game worn Rodney Hampton jersey, along with my 75th anniversary Mark Fleiff jersey, who was a defensive lineman, who was also a game worn jersey. This is just on my floor, laying around me. I surround myself with.
He has a lot of stuff just lying around. Trust me. Trust me. So yeah, he probably is just reaching his hand down. What can I grab out of the box here? It's like a magician.
Do we want to drop back into the 50s? Hold on. We also have the 50s.
We wouldn't even be allowed at the games.
Actually, these are from the 60s. These are from the 70s. We have our Phil Simms prints from the Shell gas station giveaway that was done in the early 19. This was done in 79, and actually these go back to the 50s. I have all the ones. I have Earl Tunnelly. I have a whole bunch of other guys that were done for these going back to the 50s. Again, these are just shit that's just literally lying around the floor of my office.
Wow.
But I'm not a Giant fan. I hate the team.
You should let everyone come over and pay you at your door for the museum that you have in your house.
Yeah, he could do that. He could create a little museum and have the little token ticket thing and charge people. He could do that. Don't think he can't. He could do that.
James will be proud of me. I have stuff in boxes that is like, it's just all memorabilia from the Giants going back to the 50s. I mean, sitting off to the side of me, there's an Eli Manning autographed helmet. I got a Y.A. Tittle helmet autographed signed. I have Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor helmets with Carl Banks. I mean, I have stuff that literally goes back to.
You got seats.
I got seats from the
You got
stadium
seats.
in my other side of my living room.
He has seats, the real
From the-
seats that
from the Meadowlands.
chafed your ass and was freezing in the wintertime. The creaky old metal, not that soft crack. He has the seats.
So
I'm done.
one day we'll do it. One day we'll do it. One day we'll do a whole review. But I laughed though because James is at the house, and so I mean I got memorabilia in boxes. I mean probably there's like 30 large Home Depot boxes just full of memorabilia that's supposed to be on the wall because I had a bigger house before we moved to this house. So I'm still trying to get the basement, the man cave, and that's why today we're hanging a 75-inch TV and a 65-inch TV on the walls, and they're going to be right next to each other for game day. So it's going to be fun, James, when you come down. Logic Fauna says,
Yes,
I
sir.
still remember McVay, the head coach. I remember McVay, which is Sean McJay's father. Shockey was mostly overhyped. I was never impressed. Frank Gifford, number 16. Of course, he got laid out by Chuck, the cement Bednarik, then became a flanker. Joe Morris, number 20. You are the real deal. Let's go, Giants. Billy Taylor Express, 2-yard Billy Taylor. They used to call Billy Taylor 2-yard Taylor because it was 2 yards in a cloud of dust. Went over to number 38, went over to the Washington Federals in the USFL, played a year there, and then also went over to the Orlando Predators and played a year there as well. Rob Carpenter, number 26, came over from the Houston Oilers, was actually a big part of the Giants' playoff run. We also have the Giants fans since 76. Go, baby. Big Blue Fire Chief. We've gotten to all the messages.
Congratulations.
Only
Yeah.
57 likes.
That's
Only 50.
That's poor effort. We got to get them likes up, or somebody's getting cut.
That's to James's point. That's pure. That's there's no effort there. I ran through all these freaking things.
It's like Kenny Galladay last year when he caught the pass and then went to the sideline and bumped into the cameraman and was like, "My rib is cracked. I gotta come out.
My ribs.
I'm done. My rib is cracked. I'm done. Coach, take me out."
Mark, you are killing me, man, because I don't know what you're doing. I keep worrying that Mark's giving me the middle finger.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the perfect play. We gotta call that. We gotta call it the Mark Stoic play on two.
I like
the Mark Stoic play on 2.
The Mark Stoic play. Joe.
I don't
Joe
know
Rev
why
says,
it's frozen. I have no idea why it's frozen.
Joe Rev says David Tyree catch on the thing. I'm trying to see what else I got in here. I got other shit in here too, man. I never even went into the file cabinet.
Mark has that face that Jason Garrett probably had on every time coming back after the play, back to the sideline, looking at Jones like, really, you threw that there.
And I
Supposed to
also
go to
love
the
it.
other
I'm part of
guy.
the only John content creators that has Super Bowl rings laying on his floor. I
You got a lot of stuff,
I
man.
just bent down and found more Super Bowl rings. You know, because you just got to have this shit everywhere.
Put it this way, y'all. If y'all ever seen Waiting to Exhale, Tim, if he better not ever piss off his wife, because he's gonna come home one day and there's gonna be a bonfire in the front in the street, and it's gonna be all this paraphernalia going up, and it's gonna be a big bonfire. Trust me, all his stuff is gonna be going up. They'll be like, "Oh, you like this jersey, huh?"
Oh my goodness! What the hell is back here? Oh, you also have the picture from The Natural, the original movie poster. You got to have that stuff as well down here. I don't know what the hell I have. And then for James, we still have Jaws on the floor.
I actually can't believe you have that. That's crazy.
We have
And the
Bruce
original
Shark
package
on the floor.
That's-
One day
that's- wow.
I just go through my office.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, good. So, I alluded to it earlier. I mean, we know that the whole team is being redeveloped, right? Rebuilt, whatever you want to call it. The whole line, we're throwing a lot of numbers, maybe some skill as well, because we got Evan Neal and that sort of thing. So John Feliciano, I know this is just training, just camp, right? But he's out because of exhaustion or whatever. So they bring in Douglas in to play center, not Garcia, not anybody else. They bring in Douglas. Obviously, they're thinking of him. And before they even go to that, say Garcia, they went to Lemieux. Now, I mean, what is that? I mean, I'm not sure what that means. Is that they're trying out something, or is that the real plan? So that's. I mean, even when I looked at it before, you have someone who the converted center starting for you, and you don't really have any specialized centers. So from my perspective, I was concerned about this position from the very beginning. And just that little bit of stuff, what happened at camp with Feliciano going out, isn't that a real cause for worry for you guys?
You know what it is, especially with the center position? We are playing with what we have on the roster.
Right.
That's at the end of the day, that's it. What you see on this roster is what they have. And that's what they have to work with. Unless they can find someone, and I'm concerned about it. I've been concerned about the offensive line even after we made all the signings. I've been concerned about it. And you have what you have.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, that's it. We got to give a big salute to Tuto in the super chat. We got to give it to him.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
You do need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. You need me on the wall. Tim, did you or did you not order the code red? You're damn right I did. We have to give that to Tuto as well.
Who?
You ordered the code red.
I did the job.
Did you order the code red?
You're damn right I did.
And Chris says, Debo, my grandmother gave me that bike. Of course, that is reference to Friday.
Oh, my grandmother gave me that. Yeah. Grandmother gave me that trade.
You know what? I don't want Big Worm coming to my house. That's all I want to say. I do like Philly fries, but no Big Worm coming out there.
It could be like both of ours. We could share it.
We have a Zinga dropping it. Drop the boom. Let's hit 50 likes in the archives. Everyone here, let's see here. Logic Flying Segway, New York Giant fans, 1976. I eat Reggie bars. Reggie bars were great until they started throwing them on the field. Honey Pot is in his house. We got Chris saying, I used to love those Reggie bars. They were in an orange wrapper with Reggie Jackson on. I have Reggie bars in my house somewhere. I was at Yankee Stadium for the Reggie's first home game. Reggie.
Oh, wow.
Reggie.
That's crazy if you were.
Let's see. Chris says Gettleman destroyed this team in the fan base. I don't think it was Gettleman. I think it was a culmination leading up to the failures at the end of Jerry Reese that put the team in purgatory, and Gettleman did not help it. He kind of pushed us over the cliff. Let's see. Logic Finance says, I've been talking about the O-line, the entire defense for as long as I've been here, haven't I? Yeah, Tim, yes, you have. More realism, not blind hope. Logic Finance has mentioned the offensive line, has mentioned the entire defense, and I have to give him 100% credit on that as well. All right, guys, we've been almost here for 2.5 hours. We don't even have 60 likes. Like I always like to do when I have special guests come on and visit, I want to give everyone an opportunity and a chance to kind of say something, pontificate, give their thought process for the Giants. I love everyone that hung out for such a long time. We've had a lot of good fun here today, but I'm going to start with Marty. If you had a word or a thought process or just a statement that you want to say about this team or anything about the Giants in general, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you putting up with my me being me. What would you like to say?
Basically what I would like to say is that when we're thinking about the Giants, when we're thinking about our Giants this year, don't worry about the wins or the losses. We have to focus on things that we're going to be able to do the following years. I will be focused on that wing defense to see what parts we need. I will be focusing on the offensive line to see what we need for next year and different things like that to see if we can actually take bits and pieces off the team to be able to create that championship team that we all want, or a playoff team that we all want. So don't worry about the Daniel Jones. If he's up or down, let that'll fall into place. At the end of the day, don't worry about it. Don't get up here and scream at Tim because he's criticizing him or saying things about him. It's probably facts at the end of the day. So just worry about everything else. Let's see if the coaching gets better. Let's see if the play calling gets better. Let's see if Mike Kafka knows what he's doing, or if he's just out here just calling BS. Or, we just have to think about everything else around the team besides just the quarterback to see if we're moving in the right direction. And also, we want to also make sure that John Mara made the right decision by bringing these guys in, or if we made the wrong decision by bringing in Joe Shane and everything like that. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Well, you know, Chris already says our Giants love that Marty. Mad respect. I added in the mad respect, but he meant to type in mad respect as well.
Yeah.
And Marty, I do appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you supporting the channel for a little while now, because I've seen your comments and I've seen your tag always popping in there. And you know, you are one of the people that when I talk to or I respond to their comment, I understand I could say things to you that I could say to like James, that I could say to like Mark, because I understand that you said it before earlier, you know, you were a football fan before you were a Giant fan. And I think that's very apropos. And that's why I always say there are certain people that follow this channel, because I don't call people subscribers. Like I said, I always call them
exactly.
Because you know what, we're all hanging out together, but you are one of these people that I know that follows the channel, understands when I say something, understands that I'm not sitting there trying to, you know, to bash anyone, but you get that it's just football, it's just our opinion. And like I said, I am in all sincerity, and this doesn't happen a lot, in all sincerity, I generally appreciate your comments, what you bring, and I generally appreciate you hanging on here for the last hour, because I think it was great. And I hope that, you know, we haven't insulted you enough, James, that you will come back on.
Definitely will. I definitely will.
So that is my open invitation to you.
Tim, I love listening to you. I love listening to the guys. I love this show. So definitely, I will be back.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to drop you off here because I'm going to get to everyone else. But again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully Monday will be a better day.
Definitely. Got you.
All right, Marty.
Hey, brother. Enjoy your weekend, brother.
All right, you too.
All right. Big Mark, the frozen, Mr. Statuesque, the frozen Mark.
Yo, he's looking at me like my dad when I came home at 2 in the morning in like 10th grade.
What did I do wrong? Mark, we always love having you on. We always like getting the Barbados perspective. Want to give out a big shout out to Chris, who I insulted earlier, but he knows it's all love. Chris just became a member of the OG channel. The OG channel.
Shout out to Chris.
If you don't know what the OG membership channel is, you get most of the videos 12 hours to a full day ahead of time before I release them. You have an 800 number, and James is always
800 number to call.
There's an 800 number that you can call me directly. And with new members, I will give you the code. And then what happens is you dial in the 800 number. You know what? Can we dial in the 800 number right now?
Some girl called Sparkles gets on first.
Wait, is my phone connected right now? Let's see if my phone is connected. Maybe we can call in right now.
That's
Sparkles from Poppy Cockers, right? From
exactly, you know, exactly, man. There you go. That's what I'm saying. You want some Hennessy wings? You want to go to the lounge? You want a VIP, or you just want a regular table?
You got to go to the lounge. But the 800 numbers on the bottom of the screen. And Chris, what I will do is, since you're a new member, you go into the members only chat, and you will see the code. And what basically the code does is it allows you to. James even goes, "You open up a can of worms here." I love that comment yesterday.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I can't. I want to hear.
Well, actually, if I'm available, we'll ring to my phone, and you just say who your name is, and more than likely I'll pick up because I'm just stupid that way. I like talking to everybody. Let's see. Can we? I can't get my phone. I can't get it.
You've reached Online Big Blue LLC. If you know your party's extension, please enter at any time. If you would like to leave a message for the show to be played on air, press 1. If you have your OG code to speak to Tim directly, please enter it now.
So then you just enter in your code, and then it finds me. And you can chat with me. Oh my goodness! But Mark, going back to the Mark.
Yes, sir.
We always love having you on the show. We always love getting your perspective. We even interrupted one of your parties during the live stream. I forget which one it was that you were so gracious to come on. I believe you had a Jet fan in the house that day too. Was it a Jet fan or an Eagles fan?
Jet fan.
It was a Jet fan.
Yeah.
So what infinite wisdom are you leaving us in reference to the New York Giants?
Well, what I would say is I like the approach of this team so far. Very methodical in approach, from what I can see. Even the fact that they didn't find a proper candidate for the director of college scouting. They said, you know what, we're not going to settle. We're just going to wait and hire the right person at the right time, right? We're going to make do right now with what we got. We're just not going to just do it just because we think we have to fill that position. I like that that both the general manager and the head coach are in lockstep right now. Of course, if they weren't in lockstep right now, I mean, that'd be horrible. But the point is that they're walking the talk, meaning that when they do the press conferences, they're doing them together, and you're seeing a little bit more of the GM at this point in time, which is good. So they're doing them together. So they're not just like, okay, well, Shane talks first, and then Dable talks next. They're doing them together. So I like the approach. I like how methodical they're going about things. There's no way they can fill all the holes. There's going to have to be some luck involved to get some success, but I like how that's happening. And the other thing, so from that structure, I want to see what the actual structure of the team will be. I think it's going to be quite a bit different from the last few years. And that's why I just throw that crazy notion that they might go with eight wide receivers. I really don't know. I mean, because I'm just saying, like Shermer had 7, huh? So I'm just saying that it could be so different. You couldn't, we may have had 4 tight ends the last 2 years, but given the way how they might want to run this offense and what the talent that's right there, they might say, you know what, we're just going to have 2 tight ends. We're going to bring in Jeremiah Hall. He's gonna play full back, and he also played tight end already in his career. So we might use those. That's a kind of a hybrid approach, which then might give us the opportunity, the flexibility to have 8 wide receivers. Why not? A lot of them are good special team players, so why not? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like the same thing with the safeties and the corners. I don't know if because it's going back and forth. You bring in Andrew Adam, which is an interesting move. You got Jaron Williams, who will be sort of like a converted corner to safety if he makes a team or whatever. And will you count him as like a hybrid, like in a pinch? Then would he go back to playing corner or anything of that nature? I kind of like. So I don't know how many safeties, how many cornerbacks he's going to play, because Wink certainly likes to play a lot of 3 safety sets for sure. So so it's going to be quite interesting. Probably a lot of nickel, a lot of dime for sure. I think a lot more dime than we might think. And again, with the defensive line, how many are we going to really true defensive linemen? How many are we going to have? Maybe 5 only, as opposed to 6. A whole bunch of linebackers. So I'm just really interested to see how the team is going to be made up structurally. That's the part that I'm waiting on. I can't wait to see what that would be like, because I just think it's just going to run so different than before.
I agree, and I agree 100%. We have to wait and see what happens. We got to kind of just live. We got to live the day. That's all. That's all we got. That's all we got to do right now. And Mark, like I said, I always appreciate your comments. I always appreciate your insight. I always appreciate the fact that you have been following this channel for a while now. Why? I guess there's nothing else that you can get in Barbados on YouTube, because maybe all the other content is blocked. But I appreciate you 100,000%. And you know what? You always should know. And we always, anytime we put up the invite, I'm going to tell you right now, anytime I put up the open invite, I am always looking to see if you're going to jump in. Because like I said, you always bring the truth. You always keep it real. And like I said, I'm not speaking out of turn for James, but we appreciate what you bring when you're here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
But, we're going to let you go this fine Sunday. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to close it out with Big James and have yourself
a good day,
great
you
too,
day. Brother.
Let's hope it only gets better on Monday. All right, once again, Mark, I appreciate you.
Take care. Good.
All right, James, let's burn through these last couple ones now that I got you here. We got Chris joining the OG Nation. We got Logic's Fine is basically saying there's absolutely no sex in the champagne room. No matter what a stripper tells you, there's absolutely no sex in the champagne room. Nope. I ran a 4.1940 at Norcross High School in the 80s, playing tailback, trained by Billy's White Shoes Johnson. Got hit in the game, got knocked into the music industry. Years later, over 50 million records sold. You know what's funny? I love Billy White Shoes Johnson. Billy White Shoes Johnson with the dance. I'm doing the dance, but you can't see it. Number 85. Played a lot of his time with the Houston Oilers. 3-time Grammy nomination. That's who Big Chief Fire is. Let's see here. What else we got here? We got, I guess I figured out my career path. Yeah. I wish you could figure out my career path. Guys, any news on the running back options? Running back option is right now, Tony, that it looks like they're bringing in Devontae Booker as a little look-see, which I do find interesting. But James, I got to close this out because I got televisions to hang. I got to finish. I got to finish this basement for your next visit. You always close it out with something. You always give us something to think about. When you're not trying, man. He's in the back there.
No. Well, I did that last night. I can't do that on camera. Stop that. But I just want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to G34, Marty, Mark, Tim. Love everybody. Love the channel. You know, shout out to G-Men Nation. You know, it's always good to come on here and appreciate it. Tim lets me come on here and show my ugly mug for a few minutes and talk to y'all. It's always great.
You've been on for an hour and a half.
No, I know. Like, hey, listen, you're procrastinating. I don't know where Tiffany is, but you better hang those TVs.
You know what the funny thing is? She's at Staples right now. And
really?
She went and stopped at Lowe's to get the hanging kits. So I can't do anything until she gets back.
Oh, you know what? That's good. When the wife or the girlfriend, she's out getting the tools or the stuff. Like, oh, well, I can't do anything. I just have to drink this beer until you get back.
Tools here. She still hasn't left Staples yet, so we're all good.
Maybe she made a pit stop.
She probably did. So what's your big thought, James? What are you gonna, after all my crap and trash talking and being just me? How are you going to save the rest of this show? How are you going to close it out?
Well, you know, man, I as you know, you got us the Poppycockers team jerseys, and I'm going to be the Black Quint. So I'm going to keep that theme for the whole season. Whenever I come on here, you give me a chance. I'm just going to hit you with the scratching of the chalkboard realism. You know, Marty and Mark spoke very eloquently and positively, and that's great. And we need that. I'm going to bring that other side of the coin, though. And I'm just going to say this real quick. I hope we win the Super Bowl. Probably not going to happen. But don't do what the Knicks did a couple of years ago when we caught lightning in a bottle with the Julius Randle and how well he played. And we went to the playoffs and we were good because some other teams had a down year. And then we paid this guy a bunch of money. And then we brought the team back. And then we saw what they were last year. If anybody who's in the Knicks fan or pays attention to the Knicks, you know, I don't want that to happen with the Giants. You know, I don't want to see like some miraculous, because football, I love football because you could go from worst to first.
Yep.
You can.
Look at the Bengals.
You can, you know, Bengals have proved it, you know, you can. So even if, let's say, because we don't know what's going to happen, and I don't wish anything on anybody, but let's say Dak gets hurt. Jalen Hurts has a really bad year. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. And DJ actually has a miraculous, really good year. We could win the division if all those things happen. We might even make the playoffs. I mean, if you win the division, you're going to make the playoffs. Right. But if all those things happen and he plays halfway decent, even if we don't make the, just don't get caught up. I just don't want to hear the same crap I've been hearing for years. Like, we're not negative ninnies. We're not down on the Giants. I know there's a lot of channels out there. They just positive, and this is going to be great, and this is going to be great, and that's great.
We're not one of those channels.
We are, but we also going to prepare you for the world, and in the world there's realism.
Ooh, we're not helicopter parents.
Yeah, you know, it's like those are the parents who, like, their son is on trial for like murdering and eating 10 people and killing 20 pets, and it's like, but he's such a good boy. He was a great Cub Scout, and we did it. It's like, listen, at some point, it's just over. And it's like, with us, like I said, just go into this year carefree, baby. We got to be like the surfer dude in Cali, just whatever, man. Let it hang 10, baby. whatever happens, it happens, man. I'm just here for the ride. Just enjoy it, and you'll enjoy the season. Don't, like I said, manage expectations, not too high, not too low, but kind of, like I said, just go into it with the surfer attitude. Like, hey, man, I hope I catch this wave, but if I don't, well, I'll just get up and try to get another one. Just carefree, man. Don't stress. Don't stress. Please, don't stress this year. It's not the year to stress. It's not.
Yeah, bro. James is being like totally tubular.
Tubular, you remember that?
I was like riding that pipeline. You know, you should have seen me.
Yeah,
bro.
man. You know, I was just far out. You had to be like Pauly Shore and Encino Man.
Oh,
That's a throwback for. That's a throwback for you.
That's a throwback for you with Brandon Fraser. Glenn says, mad respect, G Nations. Chris says, great session. Chris, I appreciate you dropping in and subscribing. Logic's fine. I like Leonard Williams. The only tag you should have gotten was a baggage claim tag on his way. Big Chief, Big Blue Fire Chief, thank you for stopping in. I haven't seen you before, so thank you. I appreciate
Salute
that.
everybody.
Irish Rover says, the truth shall set you free. I'm in James's court. I just want to say this before we wrap this up, because I do have to get out of here. I went an hour and a half longer than I should.
That's what she said.
It's gonna be what it is. That's it. At the end of the day, if we're good, if we're bad, it's just gonna be it. You expect the worst and you hope for the best. You know, and that's kind of what I think. I think that's the philosophy that Shane and Dable have right now. Hope for, you expect the worst, hope for the best, and see what happens. Like like doing the interviews from Crash Davis and Bull Durham. Got to play in one game at a time, and God willing, things will work out. You have to learn your cliches. But I just want everyone to remember that August 5th, we are giving away the ticket to the Coaches Club. It's one ticket. You get to hang out with me, the Venerable James Williams.
Yes, sir.
This way. I got to remember everything's reversed. Dominic Palmer, of course, the big Dahmer is flying in for the UK from this, and you get to hang out with Don Juan's flying in. OGR Sports is going to be there. You'll be there for the 40-yard pass challenge. That'll be fun. That giveaway is on August 5th. The game is August 21st. So hopefully everything goes well. We got Honeypots dropping into his house saying, Honeypot, this is a very big preseason for us. I have to agree. Preseason games in a long time. I'm just happy. We had preseason games last year, so I went to 2 of them. So this is not our first year back from preseason, but I just want to thank everyone that hung in for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I didn't, like I said, I had stuff to do today, so thank God the wife went out shopping with the kids. So makes a lot more easier on me. But I want to thank everyone for hanging in. Thanking everyone for hanging out. It was fun. It was exciting. We got a lot of good videos coming up next week. We got the big stream. And like I said, if agree with what we say, disagree with what we say, it's all the same, because this channel is supposed to be a channel where people can come and say what they feel and hopefully mean what they say, but understand sports, because I understand football. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when I'm on the mic, and people like James and Marty and Mark and LJ and T Brad and all these other guys are on this channel at the same time, come correct, because these guys are going to call you out because your sports. And the good news is, James, I think this is something I always appreciate. I would say a large portion, if not a very large portion, of the people that follow this channel not only basically subscribe to the same thought process that Marty did. I am a football fan. I was a football fan first before I became a Giant fan. And I think that right there is where we need to start. We need to start creating more football fans and have an understanding of the game, and not just fanatics for a team that they may not completely understand what is going on at the field because they were not a football fan first.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like, you need to understand what you're watching in order to really be able to talk about it in an intelligent and wise way. And it's not just from a fan standpoint, but an actual knowing what you're watching and what to look for. Me personally, I became a football fan and a Giants fan kind of at the same time, because my first memories of football is going into my uncle's room with him and his boys. They sitting there drinking beers, yelling at the TV. I'm a little kid, like, why are we all yelling? And, when you're a little kid, you do what the other guys do, and you just say, yeah, I had my little juice. I don't know what's going on. And to me, football was just guys running into the pile. I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but somebody's getting hurt in there. All right, let's go. You know, so and what you're saying is right though. It's like we're not like Tim has a lot of knowledge. Tim knows more about football than I do. There's a lot of people out here who know more. It's okay if somebody else knows more than you. I like to learn. You know, I'm not proud enough to say like I know everything. I don't want to know everything because that would probably make your head explode anyway. So I like to learn. I like to be proven wrong. You know, it gives me hope, you know, for the future and things that, okay, you know, things can change. So it's okay, y'all. Like we're here. This is a great channel. Like Tim said, I love the channel and I love everybody here because I've learned things. You know, I get corrected when I read the chats, even when I'm not on, I learn things. We're all realists here. Be positive, but just be real too. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and I think like Tim said, that's why we like to come here because we don't do puff pieces here. This is not E on the red carpet.
Hey, what do you mean it's not E on the red carpet? This is E on the red carpet because you know what? Like we've said before, James, come correct, come with knowledge because James said it.
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here.
Because you're not gonna get away with it up in here. And we're gonna close it out with Logic's one saying, and no personal attacks here. As a wise man once said, if you tell the truth, make people laugh because they want to kill you. Yes, people always want to kill me. Oh, wait, Skylar, man, we're checking out. What's up, fellas? It's been a while, Skylar. Skylar, we've been on for almost 3 hours. We're leaving.
I would say we've been on like Malcolm X here, like the movie.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was a long movie. But you know what, Skylar, we're actually out of here. I gotta go because the wife is a mile and a half away from the house. So I haven't done it.
You better not be on YouTube.
That's exactly what you can say. James, don't drop off here. But guys, we are out of here. I appreciate everyone hanging in for this long. Enjoy the new video coming up Monday. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. Stream August 5th for the ticket giveaway. James and I appreciate everyone that hung on this long. We are out of here. You know what? One day at a time, G-Men. Let's just get it done, and we will go from there. So, you know what, everyone? Have yourself a good Sunday.
Yes, sir. Stay safe.